chased validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Now we're dealing with a little bit of skipping and jumping right now. It's definitely not a good hour. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe, as we are live 7 nights a week. We typically tee this bad boy off at 10 o'clock. We did a pretty good job of doing that today, a couple minutes late, but we got it really close to the wire. Today we're going to be talking about discovering those precious minerals and ways that you can invest in those precious metals so that you can find ways to make money for you. And as I was telling you, since we are live 7 nights a week, we have a different topic of discussion every night of the week, research-based discussions. So anything that you want to know that we haven't talked about that you could use some more information on, I could definitely do that. As you've seen in the past, if you are a longstanding member of the show, you see that I take all questions, or at least all the ones I get my hands on, and then provide a response for pretty much everybody. Open-minded, open mic, open forum scenario. So keep it appropriate. We don't have to agree with each other to respect each other's opinions. And even if we come from different backgrounds with disagreements on each other's opinions, my opinions are based on facts. Anybody who doesn't feel like they agree with what I just said, you don't go after the messenger. because you don't like the message. You know, a lot of the times if the shoe fits, you might have to wear that bad boy or find a way to change who you are. But beyond that, you know, here on This, and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between, we spend a lot of time putting ourselves in a position of first person accountability. We like to tell you guys um, the upsides of how you can make better decisions to improve your financial wealth and also improve your relationships. Because if your relationships are not distracting you from your income, you can make more income. And if your income is producing well, meaning that you're not putting in more effort than you're generating wealth, then you have more time to spend time with your relationships. So today we're going to be talking about quite a few things because we're going to be covering the spread on investing in precious minerals, where last time we discussed, I do believe last week, Tuesday, we discussed precious metals. And a week before that, we were talking about stock options, REITs, business and finance, investments, other such topics. Usually on Mondays, we talk about whatever the president's doing reckless and how it's going to impact the economy for the average American in the immediate time span. Because yeah, in 10, 20 years, this might be a piece of golden cake. But right now in 2025, as we deal with the increased inflation right now in April, there's no fooling you today on April Fool's Day that it's getting rough. Tax season, for those of you who haven't filed taxes, you got about 14 days left before you start feeling penalties. You're going to have to file a document to extend and mail it to them right now so that you got time to get your stuff together to evade some of those penalties. The rest of you guys, hey, if you already got your tax money, you spent it, you fucked up, because I've been telling y'all to invest that from the gate. I just got dividend distributions from a bunch of the stocks that I was invested in February, where 30 days later they're paying out revenue. So you could have been following the information I've been giving you for the past 90 days, and you could have took the money that you got off your income tax refund, threw it somewhere, and that stack of cash will be giving you a stack of cash on a regular basis. And I don't understand why people don't pay attention to stuff like this. But we just finished talking about yesterday. If you're in the right kind of relationship with the right kind of person, two of y'all each making 50,000 a year, y'all could put y'all money towards a $60,000 a year lifestyle and put the other 50,000 in investments instead of spending time money on insignificant things. And you guys can make yourselves a millionaire inside of a 10-year relationship and live off of the interest from the investment, not just put the money away and hold it for a rainy day. Like literally put the money away and have the money paying you money while the money is still sitting there, and potentially putting back more, because the calculations that we did, you'd be coming across about 150 to 170,000 a year off $1 million, which is way better than each of you struggling to make 50. If y'all both can lay in bed and get paid 175,000, where it's monthly dividend distributions, not just, once every 3 months or something like that. It's like literally you're getting money every month from somewhere. All you got to do is just reorganize your bills so that your bills get paid after the money comes in. So we talk about all kinds of ways to make these things happen. We're looking at some phase shifts, and as we're looking at those phase shifts coming in April, I'm not even changing my investment strategy. I'm actually focusing, like I said before, I'm focusing more of my capital on the monthly dividend distributions, and then taking the dividend distributions from the monthlies and put them into the quarterlies. That way I can get more revenue from the quarterlies and the monthlies alike, instead of putting all your money in one location. You want to diversify your portfolio. Now, I understand when people think diversify your portfolio. How can you diversify your portfolio if you haven't started investing? Well, you got to invest in something. And that's going to be the one thing that you have at first. And then you got to invest in something else instead of putting all your money in one spot. What I did was I grabbed like 4 or 5 different things, and I divided up all of my money into those things to see what's going on with those things. And everything proved to be exactly as I expected. And returns were definitely higher than I expected as well. With that being said, I was able to take those profits and rearrange that and take care of some stuff that I needed to take care of this month. And now I can take the change that I don't need and put back into the stock option. Look now, y'all gotta start thinking like millionaires, think like billionaires, because otherwise y'all are going to be wasting your lives away working a 9-to-5 job for somebody else. Which today's a good day for you to hang out, because halfway through the show, after we finish going over all the precious minerals and other such, we're going to be able to spend a lot of time discussing all the things that you can do. That's a little effort that can make you a decent quantity of money over time. You can start it up like a hobby, work on it, build it. Very little investment cost, very little resource startup, and you can turn it into something that can eventually replace your primary job, where you can work your full-time job, do this little thing on the side. And this isn't like DoorDash and Uber Eats and Uber and Lyft and stuff like that. This is like legitimate, like things you can kind of like set this stuff up, and then on your days off, and kind of spend a few hours a day on it, a few days out of the week, and let it do its thing. And then you can just come back to it and put some effort into it to keep it going. Now, if you're trying to expand, you got to grind. If you're looking for expedited results in a shorter period of time, you have to put in double overtime on that particular project. But if you're just looking for a supplementary income, these are some of the great ways to go about doing it. So we're going to be talking about that later today. So you guys make sure that as you pop in and like and subscribe, make sure that you mash that reaction button if you don't throw us some donations to the channel, because we could take some special likes, special emojis, special thanks, or just a straight up cash donation, because YouTube's going to take half of it, unfortunately. Cost of doing business. However, fact is, after that, that goes towards supporting the podcast, because the podcast is not free. Special shout out to Twitch, special shout out to Twitter, because we are live on Twitch and Twitter right now. So those of you who can't see the other commenters, don't worry. As people put comments into the show that are appropriate, they will go up onto the screen, and the platform in which they sent the comment from will also be on the screen. So if you send some comments from Twitter, there'll be a Twitter X logo by your name, and if you send it from YouTube, it'll be a YouTube logo by your name. As you guys seen yesterday, we had somebody come in from Twitch, and you seen a Twitch logo pop up out of nowhere for the first time in a long time. So just note that everybody gets to know what everybody said, as long as it's appropriate. If it's not appropriate, though, it's going to be some restrictions, and then some extra stuff. So let's keep it appropriate. Moving on. I just seen something funny before I get started with today's topic. I just seen something interesting. So as I root through the fake news and find the real news, Canada is opening their borders as America's deporting everybody. And I think it's like 500,000 visas that are going out, if not more, from Canada. And there's some details involved with that about you relocating and digital nomads and stuff to that effect. But I thought that was interesting, because while they're being extra aggressive in their response to the tariffs, they're opening their doors to citizens. They're not actually, from what I hear, they're not actually doing anything to the population, just because the government is being a butt. So that, if you see that going across, special shout out to TikTok, because TikTok is still doing its thing. If you see that going across the screen, as it stands, Canada is expanding citizenship to immigration, and immigration typically gets to Canada from America before anywhere else. Very rarely do you see them hit the ports directly in Canada. So usually you're going to see them crossing the border from the US. So that this is actually impeccable news for anybody who's not interested in hanging out in the United States. Whether it's the cost of living, or you just don't like the MAGA hats, whatever your beef is. If you don't want to stay here, like Donald Trump said, you can always go somewhere else. But Donald Trump said you can leave, you can come back, you can stay gone. I don't care. That's what he said. So he let you guys know, he put y'all on blast, that if you really want to do something, go ahead and do it. But if you're not going to do something, then at the end of the day, he ain't trying to hear it. So now let's go ahead and get started with these precious minerals that we were talking about. I see quite a few of you guys, because and like give it like 10-20 minutes, because we typically start like 15 minutes from now. So you're going to see a lot of the regulars start popping in a few. And I've been doing this thing because alanito.music from Switzerland, they had made us an album called Higher Ground. And we got like 5 tracks, and 2 of them we use, one for the opener and one for the closer of the show. And we're playing those songs throughout the show as intro music for all the fans that like to comment. So if you're watching us from Twitch or Twitter and you want to throw a comment out there, we can drop a short beat in there and give a special shout out to you and whoever you got going on. It's important to you, rep your country or whatever the case may be, because I know that Twitter's not used to interactive podcasting, but this is an interactive podcast. So you can comment and I will respond to your comments as long as your comments are appropriate, even if your comments are off topic, because we went from talking about relationships to STEM topics one week. We went from business and finance to home improvement another week. We went from education to business development another week. So there's nothing that we won't do as long as it's appropriate. And I am open to political and religious debates. So, I mean, if you guys want to go that route, we can go that route. I don't typically go that route because, most platforms aren't okay with the sensitive topics, but, I don't care. So if you guys are ready to uncover Earth's hidden treasures, I want you guys to join me as we discuss the ability to hunt for rare and dazzling minerals, from gleaming gold nuggets to sparkling sapphires. Now, note, precious minerals aren't just for museums. They power technology, dazzle in our jewelry, and even save lives in medicine. A lot of people didn't even know that. And guess what? They're out there waiting for you guys to go out and find them. Unless, of course, you're lazy like me and you would prefer just to invest in the value of it so that you can make money for you instead of getting out there digging a ditch. Because I ain't going to lie to you. Last time I dug a ditch, it was the movie Life. We couldn't cross the gun line, boss. I ain't did nothing difficult since they stopped making us pick cotton out of aspirin bottles. But here's the catch. Mineral hunting is no walk in the park. It takes skill and determination and a bit of luck. Some of the rarest gems are buried deep under or tucked away in remote mountain valleys. So if it's not deep underground, it's very, very far for you to find. It's not just sitting right there on the surface unless somebody dropped it out of their pockets. And Lord knows I wouldn't want a precious metal to fall out of my pocket because I have a hole in it. Back in the day, that used to be a good thing because, I mean, her hand was in your pocket. But these days, if their hand is in your pocket, you get your hands out of my pocket, like the Malcolm X movie. However, you'll never need the sharp eye or the right tool if you're not interested in doing this. But if you're definitely trying to follow your passion for adventure and strike it rich, you're going to need to get your prescription filled. You're going to have to get out there with a magnifying glass, use the metal detector. You're going to have to be out there like them boys in the 1900s, sifting dirt. You're going to get out there and get it done. Now, why this challenge? Well, gold glitters in the riverside beds, just waiting to be panned. Downstream, as a matter of fact. And not too many people pay attention to it. Well, most of us don't even go out into the woods, travel a river or stream, go camping. We have that scenario where women are talking about how they prefer the bear over the man, which is a bitter way to think, but they would never survive in the woods long enough to make it to the bear. Eating the wrong berries and get poisoned. And just sitting here thinking like, because if I was out there, I would not be trying to choose the bear because the bear is not my homie. And Yogi always ran off with the picnic baskets. Now, diamonds are something interesting. Diamonds hide in ancient volcanoes, and the pipelines of the volcano is where you will be able to find the next uncovered diamond. Rupees and emeralds from intense pressure are lurking in rugged mountain ranges. So when people go mountain hiking, I don't know why they don't go mountain hiking for gold. They just climb the mountain for the sake of climbing it. Bump that. I'm climbing the myth. I'm climbing them up. Bro, I drive my car from my driveway to my mailbox at the edge of my driveway. So if I'm going to climb a mountain, not drive up the mountain, climb the mountain, I better be looking for something, because if it ain't making money by the time I get to the bottom of that mountain, I'm gonna be mad at it in a moment. I'm not gonna lie to you. The thrill of the hunt for some people is even better than the actual find. Not for me, it's not. I ain't chasing nobody. I am more efficient with my time than the villain in a scary movie. Gonna be real. I'm not chasing nobody. You gonna run. I'll find you eventually. If I'm looking for you, I'll find you eventually. But I am not about to lose my breath behind this situation, and it's not going down. If anything, I'm going to come from a wealthy mindset, and I'm going to pay somebody to do the work for me, and then they will get a percentage of my find because they dug it up. But here's something that I wanted you guys to note, because I think this is actually really cool. And once I finish going through it, you're going to be like, holy snap. Ever heard of benitoite? I don't know how to, are you going to put benitoite? Benitoite? Well, it's a gem that is mined in California, and it is very valuable. You know, I should have grabbed some pictures of it now that I think about it. I've been doing research on it for days, but I forgot to grab photos of it. In 1907, prospectors stumbled upon a never before seen blue gem of benitoite, now one of the rarest minerals on Earth. So the discovery sparked a gold rush of gem hunters, all hopping to find their own fortune. Now, you guys can go out there and try it too, because they still have some mines, and I'm going to tell you how in just a minute. The ultimate guide to investing in benitoite, which is California's rarest blue gem, is going to take a little bit of to do, because it's more rare than diamonds. And it's only active in one mine located in San Benito, California. Well, if it's San Benito, why is it is it benitoite? Benitoite gem? But in San Benito, California, this mine produces the gem quality, I guess, benitoite. I'm going to pronounce it correctly eventually. The dazzling brilliance of the benitoite outshines diamonds in fire and dispersion, which are colors and flashes. The investment grade has significant potential prices that have skyrocketed due to extreme scarcity. Now, some of the key factors that affect the value of benitoite is the color. If it's a vivid blue, that's the highest valued ones. And then the clarity, when it is a clear eye gem. If you can see through it, the clarity, no fog, no smoky stuff, no mineral deposits in there, that's going to be equal to double the price. And the cut, its precision maximizes sparkle. So provinces in early Dallas mining gems, these guys were able to start picking up a lot of these gems, and now these are a collector's gem, or their dream. So where can you buy them now? Because we just found them. I just found out about them here in 2025. And since 1907, it's been around. The benitoite mining company in California is the only public dig site. Public dig site doesn't mean that it's the only place that has it. It's just the only place that allows the random individual person to go there and dig up for themselves, where you can pay to sift through the mine tailings, which means whatever they didn't find already, you can go in there and you can dig around and see if you find something for $150 a day, where 1 in 20 people find a gem that probably is going to be equal to or greater than $120 that you paid to go mine. Statistically, if you went there 20 times, you should come back with 1 gem, but at least 1 gem, but at the price of $150 a day, all day sifting through, and they're only sifting through the gem through daylight. So you're going to have to get there at the crack of dawn and sift through dirt until dusk. And be that as it may, you might strike it, but then again, you might not. You can go to auction houses and specialty dealers. You have Gem Rock auctions online, where these guys sell certified stones from $1,500 per carat. Woo. I told y'all these things are valuable. International Gem Society, the IGS, has certified vendors that report monthly price updates for investors, for individuals that are interested in buying this. Estate sales and private collectors, and antique jewelry with benitoite can be undervalued, and you guys can hunt for bargains in that area, because if people don't know what it is, they just think that it's a gem and they just sell it like costume jewelry, and then they come at you pick it up at an unbelievably low price, and now you've got a very valuable rock on your hands. But you can also get it from the estate sales, where somebody who had it from the 1900s, they passed away and their jewelry is up for sale and their jewelry has a stone in it. Or you can buy it from private collectors who are selling it for whatever reason, and they're going to have the certificate of authenticity with it. Now, in recent times, there has been an increasing supply crisis, where in Dallas, the Dallas mine that closed in 2005, no one has opened up a new major deposit mine. And since that hasn't been found since 2005, this has caused a demand surge, and collectors and investors are competing to the highest bidder for the shrinking inventory. This is causing price trends to continue to increase 15% annually since 2020, outperforming both gold and sapphire. Now, investing in benitoite has serious risks because of the fakes that exist. So you always want to demand a GIA or IGS certification before you purchase any amount of benitoite. Now, another issue is the illiquidity, because this particular market, selling a large stone takes some time, which may take more time than you have or would prefer to wait to sell this rock. Now, I'm going to be real with you. When we start talking about investing in things, it is only as valuable as what someone else is willing to pay for it. Therefore, you could have $1 million rock, but if everyone else is treating it as just a rock, you just have a rock. The first time somebody is willing to give you $1 million for that rock, that is when you have $1 million rock. So if you do have $20,000 worth of benitoite, and nobody that you know wants to buy it, you just got a rock. And that's going to be the frustration of investing in something like that, when you're buying the actual item versus investing in shares of the item. Now, you can invest in certain mines and companies that hold mineral deposits, and as a shareholder of that company, you can get revenue from the value of the benitoite. But if you're trying to get some actual benitoite for yourself, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, because as I told you, $1,500 per carat, that's a lot of money per carat, because, you know, a 1 carat ring is like this big. It's really tiny. When you start talking about a carat of bentonite, come on now. But we got some pro tips for you, because buyers that want to focus on one or more carats, if you're focusing on one or more carats of this stone, because the smaller gems lack the resale upside. You can get the smaller stones if you want to. If you're just keep them for keepsakes, you're going to embed them into some jewelry, give them to your kids as family heirlooms or something to like that. But if you're going to grab some and you're going to utilize them for resale, for investment opportunities down the line, you're going to have to grab something that's 1 carat or larger. Now, prioritize color and cut, because well-cut sapphire blue gems appreciate faster in value over time. So that's something that's going to benefit you even more. As you guys pop in, make sure that you guys like and subscribe and mash those reaction buttons. Now, visiting a mine is one of the best ways to go about doing this. A weekend dig could score you a $10,000 specimen. So remember, I told you that, yeah, you could go there 20 times and you could pay $150 each time. And out of those 20 times, you should come out of there with at least 1 specimen. And that specimen could be $10,000 or more. Well, 150 times 10 is $1,500. So you would have spent $3,000 over 20 visits to this mine to walk away with a $10,000 specimen. That's a $7,000 profit. It is technically worth it if you can draw back that amount of money off of that size specimen. Now, where do you want to go to hunt for bentonite? Well, here's a short list of hot spots where you can strike it rich. Gem Mountain Sapphire Mine in Montana. So that's one place that you can go. You would find the glorious blue and green sapphires there. And the best time to do this is in the summer and in the fall. So right now we're in the spring, in April. So that gives you a little bit of time to get yourself together to get out there and go and take a look. Why would you go out there? Well, the staff help you identify and clean your finds. Perfect for beginners. And Crater of Diamonds, Arkansas is going to be another place to go, where real diamonds, yes, you can keep them. Real diamonds are found there. Bonus, they have a amethyst and garnets there as well. And a digging tip there, if you look in volcanic soil after rain, diamonds shine when they're wet. So that will help you with finding them over there. So if you was trying to find yourself some diamonds or some bentonite, there you go. We're already on a hot streak here. Cherokee Ruby Mine in North Carolina. That's another place you guys can go, where you can find rubies and sapphires in slushed gravel. Whew. Slush gravel. This is best for family fun. So it's easy and it's very rewarding. You take your kids out there, you sit there with your lawn chair, sipping on your Miller Genuine Draft, your Budweiser, your Heineken, or you can do better. You can take a few of the people who haven't been deported yet. You can bring them with you and pay each one of them $7 a day to dig for you. And then you guys can pull up a large quantity of rare materials that you'll benefit from. And, then they get deported. I don't know. But you don't have to put any effort in. But if you bring your kids, this is the hilarious part. If you bring your kids, you can have your kids out there playing and having a good time. And then as soon as they find something shiny, you guys put it in a bag, because it's going to be worth something when y'all leave there. Now, you cannot go mineral hunting without treasure hunting toolkits. So you want to make sure that when you're going out there, you carry your gold pan. You want to carry the classic tool that you're using for sifting gems from the dirt, which is a pan that has like a mesh screen in it where you can sift everything around, and then the holes, the sand goes through it, but the diamonds and stuff don't. That way, after all the dirt's gone, you've got in your gold pan there, which isn't really a gold pan, it's just a gold seeking pan, and you have all of the minerals and stuff in there, you might turn out with a handful of something where you might not have just one mineral, you might have like 3 or 4 different kinds. Another one is a classifier screen that filters out big rocks, leaving only the good stuff, because that's something that'll help you out with identifying the minerals that you're looking for versus stuff that's just fancy rocks. And ironically, a lot of us when we were kids probably passed by some of this stuff when they were doing gravel, the really nifty looking rocks that sparkled and like just was laying on the side of the road or something like that. And we never knew what it was. We walked right past like a $2,000 piece of stone that was holding the street together or something like that. Because this stuff was everywhere back in the day. So now it's not so much because we're starting to use tar. But when they gravel and they took all the mineral deposits and threw it on the street, y'all got to understand, we might need to go back to some of them historical monuments and start digging up the sidewalk. Now, you want to make sure that you keep you some tweezers and a magnifying glass to go along with your prescription glasses for inspecting tiny gem crystals. And you need sturdy boots and gloves because the adventure is going to be dirty. You're going to get wet and your hands are not going to deal with the grittiness of the environment if you're one of those people that likes to keep yourself clean. There is a pro tip. While you hunt, remember to follow the water because gold and gems settles where rivers slow down. So you want to check behind boulders or in gravel beds. You want to repan your dirt because sometimes the best treasures hide in the second round of sifting where you might have not have caught it the first time, but you'll catch it the second time. Now, we're about to start talking about investing in some stuff. So just stick around here because your gold, for example, is often found in streams and rivers where it can be extracted through the process known as panning, while diamonds are typically found in those volcanic pipes that I told you about where they're brought to the surface by volcanic eruptions. The rubies and emeralds, on the other hand, are often found in the mountain regions where they are formed through a process known as metamorphism, which involves the alteration of existing rocks under high pressure and temperature. So the investment landscape, I told you we're about to start talking about investing and stuff for precious metals, the precious metals, my precious metals in 2025 is shaped by economic uncertainty and inflation with global geopolitical tensions and industrial demands just changing the whole dynamic. So starting off, gold, which is used for stability and safe havens in this type of economic crisis, gold remains the most reliable choice for wealth preservation during the downturn because more countries have accessibility to gold. And I'm going to give you a list of those countries. Central banks are aggressively accumulating gold, reinforcing its role as a secure reserve asset. Gold prices are expected to range between 2,450 to 9,000 or 2,950. So between $2,450 and $2,950 per ounce. And this is driven by the inflation, hedging, and being negatively impacted by the geopolitical risks. So you're going to have to pay attention to, while the gold is going to make this shift, a $500 increase, there may be some changes, especially if Trump drops those tariffs because he gets the cooperation that he's looking for. And then by dropping those tariffs, the inflation diminishes. So you might see an offset in the values of gold. Now, investors can choose physical gold, ETFs, or stocks in mining companies like SSR Mining Incorporation, which the ticker for them is SSRM. Wheaton Precious Metals Corp, the ticker for them is WPM, and Barrick Gold Corp, which is GOLD, that's their ticker, and you can find those on NASDAQ and some other different places. So that if you wanted to invest in gold stock instead of running out there and go buying your own gold, that's something that you can do. Now, if you want more information about investing into your own gold stock, you can check out last week's show. 2 weeks ago show, because last week we talked about brokers. 2 weeks ago show when we talked about precious metals, and you can see the list of the precious metals that we have, as well as the share price of the precious metals, which companies are selling shares for you to invest in, versus the locations where you can go to buy precious metals if you want to keep a collection of your precious metals. And then we went the extra mile of making sure that we covered how do you store them if you decide to buy them, and the difference between the cost of storage versus and insurance versus the value of investing in the share price of a stock. Now, silver is used for industrial and monetary uses. Silver is gaining momentum due to its critical role in renewable energy technologies, such as solar panels and electronics. Approximately 50% of its demand comes from industrial application, and the gold to silver ratio suggests silver is experiencing undervaluation compared to gold, making it a strong candidate for exponential growth. Now, what you want to pay attention to, because actually silver is like around $20 to $30, maybe $45 an ounce right now, where gold is like 10 times as much, right? If you could probably buy 10 ounces of silver for the value of 1 ounce of gold. Now, silver is being used on a daily basis in our economy. Gold is being held to back currency. A lot like Benetoite, when we start running out of silver, the value of silver will go up dramatically. We ain't using gold for nothing other than currency. So once that happens, you're going to see the value of silver surpass the value of gold. If you are buying and holding silver, then when this does happen, you would be able to take your actual silver by weight and bring it somewhere and get it turned into some cash. Now, experts are emphasizing holding the physical silver over ETFs or mining stocks due to its tangible value and lack of counterparty risks. So take my advice when I tell you, if you put your efforts into going out and getting some, you want to get it and hold on to it, because if you get it and hold on to it, you'll definitely be able to see yourself gaining a larger quantity of value over time. Like, I actually just came across, I think my dad's got $1,000 bill. He just got it on a portrait. And I'm sitting right here looking at this like, nobody's going to know that this is real, because they discontinued them a long time ago. They discontinued the $1,000 bill before they discontinued the $500 bill. And now all they have left is a $100 bill. Is the largest denomination. But, and I do believe there was a $5,000 bill out there once before, but the $1,000 bill, they discontinued that. And if you were to go somewhere to the Gen Zs that's working at the bank right now, they'll swear to God it's counterfeit, but it's not. They literally exist for individuals who got one, held on to it, and for some unknown reason didn't spend it. The dollar itself, the $1,000 bill itself, might be valued at more than $1,000, because not only is it worth $1,000 in currency, the fact is that it's a collector's item if it is authenticated as an active, unburned and tortured form of currency, which is phenomenal. Now, This is why I tell you guys, when you're doing this with the silver, if you're getting it while you're young, holding on to it, when you get old and the economy changes, the value of the silver that you bought when you bought it will still increase over time. And then all you have to do is just take your silver and turn it in. Now, in case of a crisis, you might want to take a few pounds of silver and go somewhere and try to sell it, but you got to go to the right places. And that means you got to go to the show that we did 2 weeks ago that tells you where to go to sell it to get the right value for it. Because if you go to the wrong place, they're going to undersell you on it because they're going to try to resell it to make a profit off of it. So you got to make sure that you double check that. Double check your sources. Now, platinum. We noticed that platinum is being invested in heavily in Dubai. And after somebody told me about that, I was like, dang, I need to go and look into this. Platinum is used for automotives, and this is a very high demand for automotives. And all right, let me pause real quick, because as I told you guys, we got one of our buddies from back in the way back. He dove in here today. And Z, I answer all of your questions, but here we go. Special shout out to Z. Guys that has been coming into the show on a regular basis and showing us love. Z, we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. We're going to be talking about the precious metals. We talked about the precious metals from 2 weeks ago. We talked about the brokerage 2 weeks ago. Now we're doing the mineral deposits this week. So you missed out on a lot of stuff, man. I know you've been busy, but all the questions that you asked me, I did 4 different shows and covered all the questions that you asked me. But I'm glad you're here today, because any of those questions I can remind you with an answer, and then we can keep going. And this is non-negotiables. This is non-negotiables. You can see that right there from alanito.music. So special shout out to Z for diving in that. Oh, you caught it all? Oh, I'm glad. So today we're going to be diving in on some of the other stuff. Oh, hey, well, as long as you got it, hey, you don't have to respond. I would prefer for you to lurk and get the knowledge than for you to feel like you have to say something in order to show up, because I'm sharing the knowledge to everybody. And even if you got the information off the show after I went off the air, you still got the knowledge, because all of the stuff is available on the YouTube channel. For those of you that's watching us on Twitter, and for those of you that's watching us on Twitch, all of the information is replayed on the YouTube channel after the live goes off. So you can either rewatch it on Twitter or you can rewatch it on YouTube, because Twitter is apparently saving all of our lives as well. So I just want to make sure that you guys have the information so that you can definitely learn from some stuff. So since we're talking about the mineral deposits, one of the things that you and I were talking about was ways that we can make extra money on top of this. So I said, well, shoot, I need to go ahead and cover a show for us to do some side hustles and some quick and easy jobs, because starting up a business is hard. But if you can start up a side hustle that you could turn into a business, that's something that you can put some smoke behind. So I said, well, let me go ahead and cover that today while I'm covering the precious minerals. So while we're talking about the platinum, most people don't realize this, but platinum is essential for catalytic converters and hydrogen fuel cells, which would be in the batteries of the cars, ensuring steady demand despite evolving technologies. Now, while offering significant upside potential, platinum carries a higher risk due to price fluctuations, because they got a lot more fluctuations than gold does. Gold has a steady increase. Silver not as steady as gold, but still offsetting to gold. And platinum doesn't have as many increases as gold. If you want to know the values of all of these precious metals, because we're not talking about just minerals right now, we're also talking about some of the precious metals from before. I think we covered this again when we were talking about either Chile or Cambodia. I don't think I covered Cambodia, Chile, or the country before Chile, Dubai. We were talking about Dubai. So in that area, we were talking about this stuff. So make sure that you guys go and check those shows out. Now, palladium is also used for the industrial applications that allows that particular metal to have monetary values. Palladium is crucial for gasoline engine emission control systems. So the thing that's keeping your car from being taken off of the road for emissions failures, the emissions tests in those cities and states that do emissions tests, that's what palladium is for. Its demand remains robust due to environmental regulations. And similar to platinum, palladium offers high rewards, but comes with the same increased volatility. Aluminum, which you already heard about the tariffs, where aluminum, steel, and stuff like that is being negatively impacted with the tariffs. Even with those tariffs, there is an emerging investment opportunity where aluminum prices are rising due to global trade wars and concentrated inventory control. It has reached its highest level in nearly 9 months, making it a promising addition to your portfolios focused on industrial metals. Now, the investment potential for precious minerals varies significantly across countries due to their unique reserves, economic strategies, and geopolitical factors. Nevertheless, I'm going to give you each continent's, countries, precious metals that you should invest in. So now you know where to go and what they hold. So if you haven't been traveling the world, you might want to start. We're going to start with North America because the United States is number one. Not because it's number one, but because it's the first one on the list. Now, in North America, the United States has gold and silver. Canada has gold and palladium. Mexico has silver. In South America, Chile has copper. Argentina has lithium. Peru has gold and copper. In Europe, Poland, Russia, and Turkey all have gold. This is the reason why investing in gold is so easy to do, because most people have it. In Asia, China and India have gold. Now, Myanmar's is different. Myanmar has rare earth elements, and these are emerging as valuable assets for high-tech and renewable energy systems, such as dysprosium, DY. This is used for magnets for electric vehicles. So as the electric car scenario increases to be the rager, the dysprosium, I'm going to say it right eventually, dysprosium, that is going to increase in monetary value. And it's also used for wind turbines. So when Donald Trump passed the bill for renewable energy, that particular mineral is going to be heavily impacted by that. Terbium is used in lighting systems and electronic displays, cell phones, dashboards, stuff to that effect, microwaves, everything like that, everything with an electronic display. Neodymium, ND, is essential for manufacturing strong permanent magnets, which are also used in motors and generators. Yttrium, used in lasers and superconductors. So these are the ones that Myanmar has that you guys can go and invest in, which would be a completely undervalued market because it is something that is widely needed in the industry and not very many people care about it. So if you buy a bunch of it, once it starts becoming scarce, and it will, because all of the countries are working on some type of research and development scenario with renewable energy, which is why you can travel to any country in the world and expand on the international investments that you're trying to do with your companies. Now, Z said, where do the tariffs stops? Seems like a passive aggressive behavior that will eventually turn hostile. Scary for the market. Where will they stop? I don't know. When will they stop? Well, the tariffs against China will stop once Donald Trump buys TikTok. The tariffs against Canada will stop when Canada puts more troops on the border and does whatever Donald Trump said do. The tariffs against Mexico will stop when Mexico stops allowing their people to cross the border and go into America. Because he put the tariffs in to utilize wealth to control power. My mama used to always tell me, you know, my daddy used to tell me this too. Don't hit him in the face. You hit him in the pockets. You can do more controlling somebody by taking money out of their pocket than what you could by beating them up in the street. Donald Trump is adding tariffs to all of these countries, China, Mexico, and Canada specifically, to force them to do something that they otherwise would not do. The amount of money that they have to pay to tell him no eventually will convince them to change their mind, which will compel them to follow his instructions, which then he will change the tariff laws once he gets what he wants. The longer they hold out, the longer their country suffers financially in the short term. And once they start reaching the governmental struggles, before the struggle trickles down to the people, the government will struggle first. And once the government starts struggling, that's when the government starts making different decisions before we start seeing. So we might experience some high prices in certain places every now and again, but we'll adapt to that. The country not turning profits, not making sales, the rich not getting as rich as they projected, that's going to change people's minds. That's going to change the minds of the wealthy. So the tariffs are going to go as far as the political power needs it to go in order to prevent from having physical war. But during Cold War times, anything that can be done to force change from another country, that's what's going to be done. So when it comes down to the market is going to suffer dramatically. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing if you weren't already invested in the market before this happened. It's a bad thing if you had a bunch of money when stocks were high, when everything was bullish, and now everything is about to be bearish. So it's about to tank. You're about to be at less than 20% of what you originally invested in this time last year, and you're going to be crying. But everybody who was broke as fuck last year, who didn't have a dollar, a pot, neither a window, now can take their food stamp money, take their social security money, take their tax return money, and throw some money down on some damn stocks while them stocks is cheap. Because when Bitcoin was $5,000, you should have invested in it. I told y'all when Bitcoin was $20,000, you should have invested in it. And had you listened to me when it went to $100,000, look at how much money you would have got if you'd have just put it in there and left it there. See what I'm saying? So now that I've been telling y'all for the last 90 days, it's probably 120 days right now because I started talking about this I started talking about this longer than 120 days because I started talking about this in October. And then I started giving y'all stock tips and different investment opportunities that y'all could put y'all money into since December, and everything from cryptocurrency that y'all can invest in to dividend distributing ventures, plastic, since he made that executive order to switch from paper to plastic. I gave you all the plastic companies, all of the gold and mineral deposit companies. I gave you guys all different options. I even gave Usman some of the interest non-debt bearing companies that Islamic countries, based on their religion, you can invest there and it not compromise your religion. I even found platforms that you guys could go to where you could utilize these platforms to invest in companies that you cannot invest in directly, so that you can still put your money up and make money for you. So if y'all ain't started throwing y'all money down now that the market's going down, now's a good time to start throwing your money. If you wasn't throwing your money down 30 days ago, now that the market's going down, now you really need to start putting your money into it. You really need to, at the entire time it's going down, just buy as much stock as you can afford. I ain't saying put your whole rent check on it, but instead of going to the club and wasting money taking girls out and spending money on her hair and nails, if she's not investing in this stock, you need to break up with her and save 41% of your money and put that on the stock market. Because when the tariffs stop, the market is going to go back up, and it's going to go back up quickly. You've seen how what just happened with the tariffs caused everybody to pull out of the foreign car market based on just what Donald Trump said 3 days ago. Stock market crashed 700%. 700%. So that means right now, while it's low, if you threw your money down on them exact same companies that just tanked 700%, once he lifted them tariffs, them companies are going to go back up 700%. So that means that you've got a 700% profit waiting to happen if you get in there while it's cheaper, when you can afford it, because broke folks can't make money like talking about it. We got to take whatever's left and put it into stocks and bonds and investments. People who are wealthy, people who got extra money lying around, 401ks, Roth IRAs, retirement funds, inheritance money, life insurance policies that just got cashed in because somebody slipped and fell on a rock and pierce their skull like Final Destination, and they can take extra money and go and put it down on stuff like this. The rest of us got to take what we did not have to pay on our bills and put that on the stock market. And this is the time of day, the time of year, the time of the month. Just like I told y'all this in December, the end of quarter one, beginning of quarter two, you're going to start seeing everything go down and start plateauing at its bottom. So April is the month, April and May. You want to start putting your money in there as quickly as possible. And then June, you're going to start seeing some stuff happening where things are going to start going back up. Now in Africa, Democratic Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, they have cobalt and copper. Zambia has copper and emeralds. Zimbabwe has gold and platinum. In the Middle East, Qatar and Saudi Arabia have gold. And in Oceania, Australia has gold and lithium. This is one of the reasons why gold is one of the highest investments that people can invest in, because most countries have it. But investing in diamonds can be done in various countries around the world as well, depending on your goals and the type of investments, be it physical diamonds, diamond mining stocks, or diamond related businesses, and the regulatory environment that you're trying to get it from. So these countries, because I know that Usman was asking about diamonds, because if he makes money in I think it's investing in gold, that he has to give 20% or 25% away based on his religion, but he doesn't have to do that with diamonds. I was like, shoo. So that means if I was in your country with your religion, I would be investing all my stuff in diamonds. I give up nothing. Deliberately investing in diamonds just because I ain't got to give up nothing. A whole pouch I have a Crown Royal bag full of diamonds. Oh my goodness. Now, these countries are major producers of diamonds. So when I go down this list, I want you guys to pay attention to them, and you can invest in the diamond mine companies or directly purchase these diamonds. So this is going to be the list that we're going with. Botswana is one of the world's largest producers of high quality diamonds. The country is home to Debswana, a joint venture between the government and so Debswana is doing a joint venture between the government of Botswana and De Beers. So I want to point that out. Now, in that scenario, investors can explore opportunities in diamond mining companies or purchase diamonds directly from them. Russia is the largest producer of diamonds by volume, with major mines operated by Alrosa, a state-owned diamond mining company. Alrosa offers opportunities for investment in mining stock and has strong presence in global diamond markets. Canada is known for its ethical and environmentally conscious diamond mining operations. So if you were looking for blood money, unfortunately, you're just going to have to pour some red wine over your diamonds as you get them from Canada and just call it blood money. Because they're going to make sure that it's less unethical. Now, major mines include the Divik and Ekti mines. Investors can buy shares in Canadian mining companies or certified Canadian diamonds. So you can buy diamonds with diamond certificates from Canada. To keep from being hit by the tariffs, you should go to Canada and get it directly from Canada. South Africa has a long history of diamond production and is home to a large-scale operation just like De Beers. Investors can participate in diamond mining stocks here, as well as purchase polished diamonds from reputable dealers, which polished diamonds are a lot prettier than the unpolished ones. Australia is famous for producing rare colored diamonds, such as pink diamonds from the now closed Argyle mine. And you'll be able to invest in colored diamonds from Australia, which can be lucrative due to their rarity. So if you go over there and you go and buy some diamonds that are yellow or pink or something like that, you hang on to that bad boy, and you walk into a diamond shop and you're showing off pink diamonds. Bitches love pink. Bitches love smiley faces too. Now, these countries have well-established markets for buying and selling and trading the diamonds. So as we move forward, we're going to be dealing with some that are going to be buying, selling, and trading. Belgium. Antwerp is known as the diamond capital of the world. The city hosts one of the largest diamond trading hubs globally, with opportunities to invest in polished stones or participate in trading activities. India is a major hub for diamond cutting and polishing, particularly in cities like Surat and Mumbai. Investors can explore opportunities in diamond manufacturing companies or purchase polished diamonds directly. Now, in United Arab Emirates, UAE, Dubai has emerged as a significant center for diamond trading due to its tax-friendly policies and strategic locations. So when you start talking about going and get you some stuff, you go places where they ain't trying to tax your ass. That's Dubai is one of the places to go. Why do you think the people there are so rich? They take care of their country because their country stops stealing money out of their pocket. I actually need to go back again and double back and double check what's going on with Dubai and see like what is their homeless population? What's their poorest income over there? Because they're like one of the richest populations that I have heard of so far. And, America is supposed to be like the greatest country in the world, but I kind of think that Dubai kind of got their finances in order, their budgeting strategies in order. So I'm wondering what they're doing that we're not, besides not wasting money on females. The Dubai Diamond Exchange facilities investment opportunities for buyers as well as traders. Now, we've got more countries that offer other unique opportunities for investments in diamonds, such as the United States, that has the strongest retail market for diamonds, making it an excellent place to invest in luxury jewelry and other brands, or just the physical diamond itself. I would recommend, instead of wasting your money on a name brand jewelry with some really tiny diamonds in it, you just go get you a really big diamond by itself. And I'm doing this from a really big diamond because you're not going to get no Flavor Flav clock size diamond. That's going to be $500,000. Somebody will snatch your diamond off your neck. Investors can also explore stocks of companies involved in diamond mining or jewelry manufacturing. Israel has a robust diamond cutting and trading industry centered around Tel Aviv. The country is known for its advanced technologies used in polishing high quality stones. China is one of the largest consumers of diamonds globally, with a growing demand for luxury goods. Investing in Chinese jewelry companies or participating in the retail market can be very profitable if you go with these guys. Now, tips for investing in diamonds: choose your investment type: physical diamonds, the loose ones, or the ones in jewelry. I would go with the loose ones. Shares in diamond mining companies such as Elaros, De Beers, diamond funds or ETFs, if available, depending on what country you're in. And you want to ensure that you have a certification of the diamond, an authenticated certified document where only you're going to be investing in these certified diamond graded by reputable organizations like GIA, which is Gemological Institute of America, Gemological Institute of America, or IGA, which is the International Gemological Institution. If it's not certified from one of them, don't buy it. But if you got the authentic documentation from them, you can confirm the authenticity of the documents, go grab you those diamonds. You want to make sure you consider ethical sources. I don't mind considering unethical sources, but unethical sources leads to consequences. I don't like consequences, or at least I don't like negative consequences. So you want to look for conflict-free diamonds that comply with Kimberly process certification scheme. This way, if you come across some diamonds, you can actually register them if necessary. You want to research local regulations depending on where you are trying to buy them and understand the import-export rules, because if you buy them in one country, you're going to have to claim them as you transport them so that if somebody steals them, you can get reimbursed on them. There's going to be in some countries taxes and restrictions on diamonds. Investments that are related to diamonds are also going to receive taxes that is different from other opportunities in your chosen countries. Now, you want to make sure that you diversify your portfolio because diamonds are considered an alternative investment. You want to balance them with other assets like stocks, bonds, or real estate, specifically because tangible investments do not give you cash dividends on a regular basis. You can utilize those tangible assets to leverage cash bonds and then use those cash bonds or cash loans and go out and buy stuff cash up front. And then you just have to use your cash stocks to pay off your cash loan so that you don't have to worry about paying out of pocket for the thing that you just bought cash up front. It's strange if you don't diversify, but you also will remember that the same way that, rich people get robbed, if all of your capital is in tangible assets and your building burns down or somebody comes and robs you, all your money is gone. So to offset loss, you want to increase the risk tolerance by diversifying your wealth, where if something bad happens, only a small percentage of your values got. Now, we've got our other brother back up in here again. Bayside is back in here. I think the other higher ground is like more impactful because like the hook and the chorus on that one is like, whoo. Eventually, one of these days, I'm going to be making a new intro and outro for the show so that I can play some of these other ones. See, when Satellite comes in, Satellite got to be dancing on the roof. Special shout out to Oakland in the house. Bayside's here. Z says, do jewelry companies go through GIA and IGA certifications? They're supposed to. They should have the diamonds that they're utilizing. Anything that they claim is a specific type of metal or jewel, emerald, diamond, or whatever. They should have registered documentation to prove that it is that. Because you have to understand that you could have something that's silver that's gold plated or something that is pure gold. How do you know that it's pure gold? You don't until you melt it down. But if they give you a document that says that this item is supposed to be pure gold, then that's what it is till you melt it down and come to find out it's not. There's also the situations where it's not like pure gold, because the pure gold is not durable. It's bendable. You would have other metals in there to make it more sturdy, and that means it's not going to be 100% pure gold. It might be 75% pure gold, but it's actually gold metal, not gold paint, which is gold looking paint, not actual gold paint. But if it was gold painted, where you just have a thin layer of gold metal flake painted over your uranium, which is non-valued metal, but it looks gold and it's very cheap. The fact is that they have to certify that they're actually giving you something gold. So if it's a 14 karat gold something or other, it should have 14 carats of gold in it. Likewise, if it's a 2 karat diamond or 4 karat diamond, it should be registered as a 2 karat or 4 karat diamond. Because if it's not, you then should be able to hold that distributor legally responsible for fraud if the company still exists once you find out that that's not really what it is, because they gave you legal documents that showed that it was authentic. And if they don't show you that it's authentic, you don't buy it. You don't buy it off of faith. You don't buy it because they say it's gold. You don't buy it because a little sticker in front of the jewelry says that it's gold. You buy it because they showed you paperwork that shows how much gold is in this jewelry. Now, if you're buying something because it's yellow, that's different. Doesn't matter if it's gold. It could just be gold looking if that's what you're buying it for. But if you're buying it for the value of the jewelry, then you want to make sure that it's authenticated. So that's one of the reasons why I was telling you guys before. If you don't see certifications on it, diamonds, they got to have it. Because again, with the diamonds, you got to know where the diamonds came from to prevent from having anything that was stolen or something like that end up in your jewelry on your person. They have to show you where they got their diamonds from. So that means that they got to have documentation that shows that these are legitimate diamonds from a legitimate source. You got to look into that before you start buying. So the next time you go ring shopping with your girlfriend, you're going to be looking like a ring connoisseur, because you're going to be asking for certification on the jewelry. You're going to be asking for weights of the golds, diamond testers, and all this other stuff to make sure that you're getting a real deal Holyfield before you pay for it, which could help you prolong negotiations to prevent from being. You said, please name the 2 certifications for diamonds. The let's go back up. Gemological Institute of America, GIA, or International Gemological Institute, IGA. Talina changed the photo. So we got a newbie. Well, not a newbie, but another returnee back in here. Oh, wait, I lost my place. Okay, we're right here. Back again. Talina. Oh, changed her name too. So Talina, 1 in a million. I remember that song. Hello there, Talina. We're going through a lot of things today. We tiptoed through a lot of the diamonds, and now we're about to start tiptoeing through a few other things, because we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about making and investing some money today. day and night. This is like the apex of the situation, I gotta tell you. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe and hit those reaction buttons as you hang here. That's how I live. You can jam this in the car, I tell you what. So, is that I am collecting stones. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's good to hear that you're collecting stones. Now, investing in diamonds require, he said, rocking the night. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have the 5 tracks. And I only play 2 of them, one before the show and one after the show. I'm like, shoot, I'll be on this thing for 2-3 hours. I need to be playing them throughout the show so that everybody can hear what's going on. They released the album in December. We did pretty good for the first month, organic traffic. Now, investing in diamonds requires careful research and consideration of market trends. So the certification standards are something that you've got to pay a lot of attention to because you want to make sure that you have real stuff. And then also because you guys told me that all of the information that I provide to you guys, it like bleeds a topic to death. So I try my best to provide a few extra alternative topics in there so that we're not stuck on one topic for 5 hours. That gives you guys a little bit more diversification because, you know, our attention span has diminished since TikTok became famous. So most of the people that are watching the show right now caught me on the feed and now they're like, oh, snap, there's a brother up here talking about diamonds and money and investment. I won't sit here and listen to this. He gonna tell us in a little bit how broke folks can throw some money around and make some extra cash. So, you know, that's trying to adapt to the market. You know how it is. I love it. I love it. I told you guys, didn't I tell you guys that everybody comes in and it's right about the same time? Special shout out to Usman. Usman, one of my favorites. He comes in and Usman, Z, Satellite, Bayside, y'all always come in. Talila, y'all always come in and give me some of the most interesting questions, left field topics. So I love it. I love it. We're going through the whole song right now, so that means when Satellite pops in, we're going to be on the awesome version of Higher Ground. It's a 4-minute soundtrack. Usman says, the IRS says, people are becoming financially smart in a Florida neighborhood using loopholes in the system to avoid taxes. People are buying more suits too. Is it the mob? President says no. Xander has returned. Everybody need to own a suit. You need to own quite a few. That's all we doing out here in Florida. You got to look sharp. And if you look sharp without spending a bunch of money doing it, you don't go broke looking good, because you should be able to look good without spending a bunch of money doing it. Because none of the like, look at what Elon Musk, he had on jeans, he had on a Fruit of Balloon shirt and a blazer on. Most expensive thing on him might have been the blazer, and the blazer might have been $100. But because he was wearing a black t-shirt, a black blazer, black jeans, and some black sneakers that looked like Vans, it was good. He didn't need on a tie. He didn't need a button-down shirt or nothing like that. He didn't have to go suit and tie like I do. He just dressed casual and threw a blazer on because he was in the White House. Crazy, right? Billionaire. You would think, the mindset of broke people, you would think that the man would have a $5 million suit on. He probably could have got that whole outfit from Burlington Coat Factory. Talina says, everything less than 1 carat don't worth to buy. That you do make a good point. Yes. And that's one of the things that we were talking about before, was that you want to focus on 1 carat or more if you're trying to resell it. But if you've got a bunch of them that are less than 1 carat and you put it into some jewelry, you can still, do something with that, give it to your family members as heirlooms and pass that down the line, which allows them to then sell it later on which puts more in their pocket as an heirloom. For you, it doesn't do anything when it's less than a carat. But I mean, if we're buying, she said Elon is junky. Oh boy, I ain't even gonna touch that. So each country offers unique advantages depending on whether you're interested in mining stocks, polished stones, or trading opportunities. So here's a curated list of most profitable side hustles and low effort, high paying jobs for 2025, because I told you guys we were going to be doing this as well, categorized for the ease of selection. Now I want y'all to make sure that y'all understand that I ain't even talking about y'all sweating. I ain't even talking about y'all struggling. I'm talking about y'all just doing a little something on the side to make y'all a little bit more here. The most expensive thing on Elon might be his hair transplants. I forgot about his hair transplants. Is his hair transplants like nanobots? Because I don't see his hair move at all. Like, does he have like anti-wind resistant nanobots that keeps his hair straight like mousse? He said coke. Because he's doing that Neuralink thing where he's putting the transplants in the he said the Neuralink that's doing transplants and allowing people's brains to control machines, which also means that people can hack into other people's brains, because if brain waves can control computer algorithms, then that means the reverse action can happen and computer algorithms can control brain waves. Once you sync that scenario up, it is like a counter reaction. What can go one way can go another. Outside of them putting blockers in there to prevent that from happening. But hell, Tesla's got hacked twice before, I think, ran some off the cliff. Construction signs got hacked. That's supposed to be a closed network too. There's not much in this world that can't be hacked. So once people start linking their brains to technology, their brains can be hacked too. So, hey, it is what it is. He said, keep talking about carrots because it's making them hungry. Now, we're going to talk, since you're hungry, everybody got to eat. So what we got to do is we got to talk about some of these hustles in 2025. Now, e-commerce and digital products are a good way to make some money. And I was talking to you guys about drop shipping yesterday. Drop shipping starts an online store without holding any inventory. That's what that's supposed to be doing. And if you do that, you can perform sales and run an online store on places like Shopify or Etsy, and be able to make you a decent quantity of money. And it's reasonably doable to get set up. It is not free to set up, but it is reasonably affordable to get set up. A couple $1,000s and you'd be on your way. I'm just going to throw that out there because you got to pay for the store. You've got to pay for memberships. You've got to pay for, you might actually be able to get started up with like $500. But once you start making some sales, you're going to spend that couple $1,000s in the first month. And then every month after that, you're going to be reinvesting some of that profit and keeping the rest as actual profit. So drop shipping is, if you want to expand, you're looking at reinvesting 60% of your profits to expand. And because you're expanding, you're only making 30% profits off, 30 or 40% profits off of your efforts. But you're buying more stuff from more vendors. You're advertising it on more places. Outside of Shopify, you're advertising it on Amazon. If you get connected with Temu, you can put it up on Walmart.com and you can make money for you. Now, beginning drop shippers' initial incomes are anywhere between nothing and $1,000 per month, because when you first start out, you might spend more money than you make the first month. But as you go along, you can make between nothing and $1,000 a month doing this on a intro level where you're not really getting it done right. Intermediate levels where you kind of figured out what you were doing wrong and sort of fix that stuff, you start making a monthly income between $1,000 and $5,000. And the successful drop shippers that have automated the platform and expanded their products, where now they're making anywhere between $5,000 and $50,000 a month as drop shippers. Usman says, imagine walking down the street one day with your Neuralink and you get an unskippable Amazon and YouTube advertisement in your brain. I didn't even think about how they would be pushing ads. You know what that would be, though? That's not going to be a non-skippable ad. That's going to be a unavoidable impulse buy, because since they're able to send this stuff to your brain, could you imagine you walking past a certain store that triggers you to go in there and buy stuff? Then when you come out, you're like, why did I buy this? Because the free version of the Neuralink force you to walk in that store and buy that. Oh boy, that would be crazy. Starbucks will make a bunch of money then. You got to get me some more of this coffee. It's black coffee today. I didn't even get the hot chocolate. I was like, I'm gonna wait till Thursday. Pick up some hot chocolate, sugar, maybe some whipped cream. I still got to get the this and that mug, and then the this and that thermos, like that one, so that you can see what those are looking like. The this and that apron, I'm going to be grabbing a lot of those when I'm doing the cooking shows, because actually when it comes down to the cooking thing, what is it? It's Vino Cato. I actually put an intro ad out there for them earlier this week. Vino Cato is supposed to be sending me a bottle of wine, and I'm going to be showing you guys how it looks, what it tastes like. We can cook with it. We can just drink it up. It's a cooked wine, so it's actually very exquisite. I do believe it's made in America, and so I'm going to be doing a lot more with them. I'm just waiting on them to send me the bottle. So I'm actually going to be partnering with there goes Mr. Satellite. Just a second, Mr. Satellite. I'm actually going to be partnering with hopefully Discovery, where they have an online recipe thing where they're supposed to be providing me with the affiliate link for that, where when you subscribe with them, they give you like 1,000 recipes a month that you can cook, which would be fantastic to use with the Vino Cato wine, because you can pick certain recipes that works well with the red wine, and then you can cook and add you a little bit of pizzazz to your meals. And then Fit Chef is also supposed to be sending us meal plans as well, so that will have us with a large quantity of recipes and cooking videos that you guys are going to be seeing. And I'm going to primarily be utilizing the Vino Cato wine in a lot of my recipes. And when I run out of Vino Cato wine, you might start seeing me use some of them hood liquors. and that's going to be one of them things. Real quick, before I answer your question, I gotta throw it down, because Mr. Satellite came in specifically for this. Mr. Satellite specifically came for this. Higher Ground, track 2. Special shout out to Mr. Satellite, 39th time in a row. He's in here like Goldberg, undefeated, just popping in. He's setting a record for Higher Ground. And you can find the links to all of the songs that you're listening to today in the description down below. Raising the bar, breaking ground. And then Usman says, when you start your cooking shows, are you going to use your suits to cut all the ingredients. Actually, I'm going to be wearing my suits and I'm going to have my this and that apron on. So when you see me doing the cooking shows, you're going to see me preparing the stuff, wearing the thing, and utilizing all of the ingredients. And I'm going to be putting some weird stuff together, and we're going to come out of the woodwork with some stuff. So it's going to be fantastic to see. And actually, the Vino Cotto wine is actually $29.99 a bottle. It's like $8 for shipping unless you buy 2 or more bottles. If you spend more than $50, it gets you free shipping. So it's actually cheaper to buy 2 bottles. And if you're going to be using it regularly, 1 bottle to drink with, 1 bottle to cook with, you might as well buy 2 at a time, and then see what happens and get your free shipping, because it saves you a little bit of money. As soon as I get no, I got you guys, because a man of my word, every time I tell you about something good, I find a way for you guys to get your hands on it. So if you give me just a second, I can actually give you the link to Vino Cotto so that you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see. And then you can go and take a look at the product. I strongly recommend it. And not just from an alcoholic's perspective, from an investor's perspective, from a cook's perspective, fine wine, fine dining, elegance. You know what I'm saying? There's more than just, hey, if you want to get lit, grab you some Vino Cotto. But if you want to get yourself some, come on now. There it is. I'm going to go, because I tell you guys, as soon as something happens, I got to let you guys know, oh, here it is. So, there is those of you that are watching on Twitter, I'm going to drop it in the description for Twitter as well. So nobody's going to be missing out. Everybody's going to get a copy of the link. And if you click that link, you can go there and you can take a look at the Vino Cotto wine, and then you'll be able to see what you got going on. Don't worry about it, Z. We're going to be diving back into the money in just a second. But, here on This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between, I want to make sure that I tell you guys about everything that we've got going on as we got it going on. Now, real quick, I just seen something which was interesting to come across. The other gentleman from there's the Fit Chef. So they just got it today. So I can send you guys the Fit Chef link right here live. As soon as I got the link, you guys got the link. Notice that they gave you this and that promotion code that you guys are going to be utilizing when you go out there and go and take a look at Fit Chef and get you some meal plans. So there's a lot of stuff that as things change as quickly as it changes, I got to let you guys know what's going on. So back to the top. Z says, sounds like it would be good with what is that? Spanakopita, which is spinach pie, phyllo dough. I have not heard of that. I'm going to look into it because I'm not really a baker. I spent 25 years in restaurants, so I can cook, but I haven't actually baked much. And you can't cook on an empty stomach because you're going to burn stuff. It's typically how that goes. Usman says, if it was lawful, you could design a tie you can wear, and it when you take it off and apply a low voltage across it, it hardens so it can be used in self-defense. Now, that's not against the law. You just have to have safety protocols with it. So you have to think about the stun gun walking canes, stun guns, sword canes. Now you're talking about having a tie that could potentially be used as a whip that provides an electrical current. The concern that you have about that, because the way you tie the tie is that any cables that are in the tie would be bent at the collar where you tie the tie. So you would have to design a tie where potentially the self-defense area starts further away from where the knots are being tied, and then the ends are supposed to be where the defense can be held. But I don't think anybody would use a tie as a self-defense weapon. I think that if you made the kind of tie that was durable enough for a garrote line, then you would use it for offense. I could see it Hitman style. Instead of choking somebody out with a seatbelt, you choke them out with your tie. But I can't see them making an electrical. Now, I can see them putting lights in the tie and making it glow in the dark. I think they have some of those, but like electrocuting somebody with a tie on purpose, I don't think that's going to happen. He said you have to try it, no joke. Oh yes, sir. I'm gonna look into it and I'm gonna see what I can do about grabbing it. Oh, an electric clip-on tie. Oh yeah, you could do that with a clip-on tie. Clip-on ties are for kids anyway. So if you turn clip-on ties into a self-defense weapon, yeah, you have all kind of stuff. You have all kind of stuff going on there. Now, keep in mind, other side jobs. You have that print on demand. So note that I'm going to be doing that. And and then the lady, she asked me some interesting, she's like, oh, do you have do you have some of the cooking videos from before? Like, I do 2 to 4 videos a day, 7 days a week. I am not about to go through 2,000 videos to find you specifically a cooking video so that you can send me a bottle. I'm just going to buy 2 bottles and you send me the third. We're going to figure this situation out. I'm going to edit that part out when I send her this clip. But definitely take a look at those when you guys got time, because you're going to enjoy it. For those of you on Twitch as well as Twitter, because I made sure I sent it to all of y'all, all 3 platforms. We're actually streaming off of StreamYard so that I could broadcast on 3 different platforms at the same time. I have to pay a premium to broadcast off of 4 different platforms. I don't see myself broadcasting off of Twitter as of yet, because Twitter has to find a way to give me a stream key, because it makes no sense otherwise. Now, print on demand, as I was just about to talk about. If you design and sell custom t-shirts, mugs, or other items using platforms like Printful or Etsy, you can also we use Spiral, Spring. We use Spring here on This and That. And then there's another one that we also use. I can't think about it off the top of my head. But we use 2 other printing companies that are print on demand companies, and it's beneficial for you if that's something that you want to do. You could also create a print, or not create a print on demand company. You can invest in a print on demand company where they already have the products, and you give them a percentage of the sale of your product for them to print whatever you want on the product and sell it to somebody else, where you literally aren't doing anything other than creating the website, paying for the domain, and then advertising it to places where people will buy the product through the site, and then the printing company will send it off and you make a profit off of it. The way it's set up right now, I think depending on the item, I can make between $5 and $10 an item doing this type of printing press scenario. Beginner sellers on a monthly income can make anywhere between nothing and $500 when they're first starting out with organic traffic. But once you start getting a little bit of speed under your belt and you start getting word of mouth out there, intermediate sellers can make a monthly income between $500 and $5,000 a month. And the successful individuals that have been able to like mass produce be making anywhere between $5,000 and $50,000. And these are side gigs that doesn't take really much money to start up. It doesn't take much money for you to operate. It doesn't take much money for you to run it, and you don't have to keep the inventory at your house. So really, you're just setting it up digitally, advertising it digitally, and since electronic e-commerce is the thing these days, you could typically make money everywhere off of something like this. Digital product creations is another one. Selling templates ebooks or online courses. This is a scalable situation that offers passive income because the ebooks and other scenarios can earn anywhere between $100 and $10,000 per month. Online courses can earn between $1,000 and $50,000 per month. Software and apps that people download the links to or download the URLs to and get the what do you call that? Look, I drew a blank. I had so much information hit my head today. When they download the software to upload the program, that's what that's about. And those are anywhere between $5,000 and $100,000 a month that you guys could be making off of that. Then stock photography and graphics earnings is a potential for $100,000 to $5,000 per month. Audio products such as podcasts, not this one, because this is a live podcast. Like if you record your podcast and then you put the audio or the video file up on Amazon or Hulu or something like that, those types of podcasts, music and audible books can all be sold online on an e-commerce store between $100 and $10,000 per month. Then you can have membership sites where you can earn potential off of that with $1,000 to $50,000 per month, where beginning creators can start making a monthly income of anywhere between nothing and $1,000 a month and progress into the intermediary phases where they're making between $1,000 and $10,000 a month. And if they're extremely successful at what they're doing, they can make an average income of between $10,000 and $100,000 a month. This is monthly incomes. So that means that you could be making anywhere between $120,000 and $1.2 million a year if you're really successful at it. Content creators on YouTube. So got to talk about it. This is one of the other things that you can do as a side gig, but it takes a lot of effort. I'm going to tell you right now, I do this every day. It takes a lot of effort. It takes dedication and it takes time. Once you monetize through ads and sponsorships, you're focused trends on a specific niche like tech reviews or personal finance, which is what I kind of cover, will draw you in something anywhere between $0 and $1,000 a month. Intermediate creators can get anywhere between $1,000 and $10,000 a month. Successful creators can make anywhere between $10,000 and $100,000 per month. It's a trend. So the average person is making the intermediary level on each one of these sets. But if you're making $2,000 to $5,000 a month on this, that means that you don't have to break your back doing labor to get this done. Yeah, it's a little mental stress. Yeah, you got to work on your own personal biological clock, but you don't have a boss that's complaining to you about you not getting your stuff done in a timely fashion. Like your fans might be like, hey, when are you dropping the next video? Oh, my bad. It's about to release right now. Like that's the worst that it gets. Like, hey, why'd your show didn't start at 10 o'clock? It's 10:30. Oh, my bad. Something came up. That's like the worst that it gets. Not, oh, if you don't get this done by a certain time, you're fired. So, yeah, you're making a little bit of cash here and there, but you're not really all that stressed out about it. But it is, the back office work for being a podcaster is exhausting. The SEOs, the tags, the descriptions, the information, the links, the promotions, all of this stuff is exhausting to do 7 days a week in order to be an actual professional at this and generate some kind of revenue off of it. Now, tips to increase your income from your YouTube channel is what we were talking about. I know Usman was here and Bayside was here a couple days ago when the gentleman had jumped on and he was talking about how he was a journalist and he was thinking about quitting his job and going to find another one. And I told him, just work for yourself, start to a blogger, regular newsletter online, do stuff that your boss didn't ask you to do, because according to your contract, he has exclusive rights to any assignment he gives to you, but any assignment that you volunteer to do that he didn't authorize, he doesn't have exclusive rights to. So you could do your own stuff on the side, broadcast that stuff, and the stuff that he wants, he can broadcast that stuff. You can build your reputation while you work for this guy. They know you from the real news. They know you from whatever journal that you're being published in, And then if your fans from that cover story follow you on your personal site, you end up doing affiliate links, you end up doing Google AdSense, and you end up having a large traffic of individuals coming to your website in order to see the exact same news that you're being paid pennies on a dollar to cover from somebody else. And if you've been doing this over a number of years, as you work for this other company, you've built up a large enough rapport where they're watching stories that the news won't air on your channel. That will give you like exclusive. It's almost like that guy, Delete Mods, I think is what it's called, where he's putting up those First Amendment videos where the police officers are acting irate and murdering people and stuff like this, and he's showing like uncensored video, and you can't find this type of video in most places, but he's finding it, he's putting it up there, and he don't even care if he gets demonetized for it because it's his right to produce it. But just because it's our First Amendment right to say and do stuff doesn't mean that they got to pay us for it. So we got the right to air it. We're just going to do it for free. So being that, increasing the income from your YouTube channel, having blogs and newsletters. If you use platforms like Substack to generate ad revenue or subscriber income, your blogging can go anywhere between $0 to $1,000 per month, often just starting out or with a very small audience. So you don't need a massive audience for something like this. And then your intermediate bloggers would have anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000 per month, where you have an established audience and consistent content. And that's one of the reasons why I said you got to do this either daily or weekly or something. Whenever you come, you got to come at the same day or around about the same time all the time, so that people know to come back for that if they're interested in your topics. And very successful bloggers are $5,000 to $50,000 per month. And this is going to be with a large audience with strong engagements and effective monetization skills. Now, the newsletter, where small newsletters are $100 to $1,000 per month. So that means you're making money off of this regardless. And this is a niche-based audience, limited monetization. The medium-sized newsletters are $1,000 to $10,000 per month with an engaged audience where some sponsored content is involved. And then the large newsletters are $10,000 to $50,000 per month with a large audience, strong engagement, and multiple revenue streams, a multifaceted revenue stream that's attached to this particular situation. Now, your podcasting, when you're creating a niche content that's monetized through the sponsorship, that's another way to get you a little bit more revenue. Service-based side hustles. This is another way that you guys can make you some extra money on the side without breaking your backs. Freelance digital marketing offers SEO or social media management services to small businesses. I have people hitting me up in emails on a regular basis trying to encourage me to let them work on my SEOs and increase viewer traffic. And I say, hey, as long as you can turn me a larger profit than I can do on my own, you're there. But if I've got to pay you a fee that I'm not going to recoup from monetization, then it makes no sense for me to do it. Because yes, I'll have a larger viewership, but I will not have a larger revenue stream. I will actually pay more than I make. And anything that you don't make more than you spend is a loss. The loss is a bad business decision. No matter how much you have to pay, if you make more money than you spent, that is the cost of doing business. And the cost of doing business is a profit. It's always a profit. Even if it's a small profit, it's still a profit. But you also have to gauge profit versus effort. If you're putting in a lot of effort and you're not getting much money, then you're still at a loss. But if you're okay with the money, then you're going to keep that effort up until the money gets there. Now, beginner freelancers are making between $20,000 and $40,000 per year. Intermediate freelancers are making between $40,000 and $80,000 per year, and experienced freelancers are making between $80,000 and $150,000 per year. Now, I just want to pause real quick because I know that Usman, Bayside, Satellite have all had on this conversation with me on the show. I think Z and Carl have had this conversation with me on the show before, but with all of these ways that the average individual could make almost $100,000 a year or $100,000 a month, doing something online that does not require backbreaking labor, why do so many women feel like it is necessary to make money on OnlyFans instead of making the same kind of money doing something else that doesn't degrade or devalue their character? I just want to throw that question out there. If there's any ladies in the show right now, because I know that we're primarily a male podcast that is from the man's perspective, so very few women hang out when we start asking questions about why women act up. But if there are any ladies that are watching the show on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, feel free to answer that question for me. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, he jumps in at the right time. And Pat, first time tonight, he's coming in. Appreciate you, Pat. He said because they need attention. All right, Pat, let me get your theme music in here because we got everybody down here.
My network is my network. Choose your company wisely.
And he always says, slow jazz. And I'm like, we don't got jazz. We got indie rock, we got metal, we got pop.
Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. That's my personal command.
Oh, hold on. That was a hook. Y'all got to listen to this part.
Standing on higher ground.
You know, when they do the bass drop, that's even better. Can you imagine this is how they do it?
Raising the bar, breaking ground.
Yeah, that's probably going to be on all the cooking shows. It's probably going to be on all the cooking shows. He's going to be like, oh, stop. They going in. He said it's their currency, devaluing themselves as their currency. Y'all seen like the dude that came and asked us on Sunday if this is a Red Pill podcast. And I'm like, nope. If you come back tomorrow, you're going to see that we talking about money and investments and stuff. It just so happened that today's topic was talking about that bullshit. Because you've seen the last girl that we talked about on the end of the show. Was she talking about money from the dude that it's gonna be a desert, and I'm looking at the fact that why is she valuing herself based on how much money that she can get from the dude, based on how much sex she's gonna give to the dude? Because when you start putting your body on the line directly compared to the capital that you're getting from the man, you are basically selling yourself for the money that you're getting for the man. If you are valued as a person, what you do for the man should be enough to be considered valuable to the man. And if he has the capability to do for you, he should be able to do more for you than your bare necessities. And that bare necessity is what you're entitled to. But anything above that is generosity. And women aren't okay with that. It's an expectation. And I try to figure out why do they go that route when they're not, when they could have done something else? Because just like I told y'all at the top of the show, that you literally two people making a $50,000 a year income could live a $60,000 a year lifestyle, put $40,000 away in stocks, and be in a 10-year relationship and be a millionaire in 10 years. So she doesn't need to date a $100,000 a year man that's paying for everything that she's got going on while she's wasting all of her estate. He could be a $50,000. He could be a $45,000 man. She could be a $60,000 woman, and they can live a $65,000 lifestyle. And he could take his $40,000 and put it into the stocks, bonds, and everything. Her money could cover the standard of living, and then he could invest in everybody being a millionaire, where they can still both quit their jobs, making $175,000 a year or $150,000 a year in as their 15 to 20% revenue from the $1 million that they have stacked up over the years, instead of wasting all this money on entertaining her, all the money that you're throwing away to entertain her, the beginning of the relationship, where the end of the relationship could be living on cloud nine, like after Aladdin got the lamp back from Jafar, where there's no limits to what we can do now, because we still got that $60,000 a year lifestyle, but we're making double the income and the money is coming in so fast we can't spend it all. That is the kind of goal that you're supposed to have when you're getting into a relationship, but women don't have that mentality yet. Enough of them come to the show and learn this, or maybe if I get Pearl to come and co-host a show with us on one of those dating episodes, then we can cover those aspects. But a lot of the times, I'm going to tell you, like, really and truly, it is great to see when they start making those changes, because as it stands right now, it just makes absolutely no sense. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of men are saving their money, quitting the dating game until they can fly to another country and find something better, because the ones in America have been corrupted by greed. most of them at least. The ones from like rural neighborhoods where they have not been spoiled by wealth yet, not so much. But the ones that have definitely been in the high populated areas that have been spoiled by wealth, they are reckless. Z said, money, great music, great food. What else do you need? On this podcast, bro? That's all we do. That's all we do. We're talking about higher value, higher success, first person accountability to improve your own wealth. You can't blame nobody but yourself for the life that you live. So if you don't like what you got, change it. And I'm telling you all the different ways that you can do it. So all of the investment opportunities that I tell people, this is be the first time in 4 months that I've come back and told you ways so you could do up a little side hustle to build you some extra cash so that you could take the extra cash and invest it. Since your whole paycheck is going on your bills, you can build up some extra cash and put the extra cash towards investments so that you can still, during this recession, start putting some money up so that you can start making money, make money for you. There's no reason why by the time Donald Trump finishes his next term or dies, whichever one comes first, that you're not on the path to becoming a millionaire. Not while watching this podcast. The only way that's going to happen is if you just don't apply any information that I give you. But if you take the information that I give you and you apply, because I'm applying it. So as I apply it, I'm going to make it there. And if you don't make it there with me, the only thing I can tell you is I told you so, because I did what I said. I practice what I preach. I don't just talk to you guys about it for the sake of doing it. I actually do what I tell you guys should be done. And as I get the success, I tell you about the success so that you know along the way, dang, he took a couple $100, he turned it into a few $1,000, turned it into a few $100,000, turned it into a couple million. And the whole time you're watching the podcast. And what you'll notice as things improve, what you'll see, podcasts will change, podcasts will increase something somewhere, podcasts will expand somewhere. You might see things improve, the podcast improves. So you'll see, yeah, hey, your podcast came a long way. Yeah, that's because my wealth came a long way too. So as you guys follow, y'all got to make sure that y'all write down some of this stuff. Write down the ones that interest you. You don't have to write down all of them. Just write down the ones that interest you that you might want to get into. And then I can either do some research and help you figure out how to get yourself started with it, or you can do your own research and figure out how to get started with it. Another thing that you guys can do is get you some tech consulting. If you are tech consulting, tech consulting is when you're helping companies automate workflow using AI tools like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Google Gemini, where beginner consultants are making annual incomes of $50,000 to $100,000 a year. Intermediate consultants are making annual incomes of $100,000 to $250,000, and senior consultants are making an annual income of $250,000 to $500,000. So you guys could be making a shit ton of money on your computer just helping other people make their workload easier using AI software. So there ain't no reason why the amount of money that I just said right there by being a tech consultant, there is no reason why these women should be selling their bodies online for a few $100,000 a month when you could be selling ChatGPT to people for a few $100,000 a month. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. I can maintain my dignity as a person and still make the same amount of money that she's making without ever having to take my clothes off on camera. I don't understand why they do it. Pat says, I'm in denial that we're in a recession, but I know we are. Well, the thing is that technically, we're not in an official recession until poor people can't afford to pay their rent anymore. We're not technically in a recession until businesses can't afford to pay their employees anymore. But logistically, we're walking into a recession. It's not there yet. We're like teetering on it. We're at the beginning of it. So like June, July, August, yeah, we're going to be full-fledged into a recession, especially if these tariffs don't change. So people are talking about the recession because hypothetically, if Donald Trump keeps the tariffs at 25% for the next 12 months, everything is going to be expensive by Christmas. But if he lifts the tariffs on China in like 5 days, or if Beijing delays ByteDance with the sale and he has to extend it for 75 days, and the tariff lasts for another 75 days, and then after the America buys TikTok, the tariff lifts. So 75 days would be 3 more months, which is like what, May, June, July. So towards the end of July, when he lifts the tariffs, then we'll start seeing the decline in inflation in August and September, right after school starts. So by December, prices will start going back down. But the beginning of this year, yeah, we're walking right into a recession. So people identify it as that. You say, I know off paper we're not. Yeah, off paper we're not in a recession yet. Not yet. On paper, technically, if nothing changes for the foreseeable future, yeah, everything is going to continue to decline the same way it did in COVID. But think about how COVID started October of 2018, became a thing January of 2019, shut down the country March of 2019. We started losing jobs and houses in January of 2020. We started seeing massive quantities, millions upon millions of people being evicted in 2020. We were looking at the loss of available resources to provide financial release in 2021. So even though the shutdown happened in 2019 and it only shut down the country for like 6 months, and then it started letting people do like remote work and digital work, and you see like when it happened, awesome series is like Blacklist, where they had to find ways to keep making a series during COVID. It was crazy how everything happened, but some people still had to go to work. But the fact is that something like that it was a short-lived thing that had a 3-year impact that we had to bounce back off. This short-lived thing that might take up 6 months of this year might have a 2 or 3 year impact on the economy, because the poor people are going to be the ones that's impacted by it first. Because yeah, you're not paying taxes on your overtime hours, but you're not saving or investing any of your overtime hours. So you have a larger take-home pay before taxes. And even if they don't tax you on that money at the end of the year, where they have a separate tax form for, or a separate section of your tax form for overtime hours, and then they have an area for your regular hours where you're only getting taxed on your regular hours, you're still looking at the fact that extra money that you're not being taxed on, it's not like you're making extra money where you can invest somewhere else, because you're going to say, well, I'm making more money, so now I can spend more money. So most Americans, since Donald Trump said that, since he put it into play, most Americans are still living at 99% of their income. They might leave a few $100s of spending money there to put gas in their car, buy themselves something stupid, or just in case an automatic bill pay comes in between now and the next time that they get paid, they might leave a little bit of play money there so that they don't overdraft their account. But that's it. It's just sitting there in an account that has 0.064% interest, which is less than a penny of interest. They're going to leave $100 there or $200 there, where they're going to make 6 cents on that $100 if it stays there for the whole year. But it's not going to stay there for the whole year. It's going to stay there for like 5 more days. Then when they get paid, they're going to go to the club. They're going to go buy a new outfit. They're going to get their hair done. They're going to go get tickets to the Drake concert. They're going to go get tickets to the Kendrick Lamar concert, you know, and they're going to do it up. They're going to get tickets to WrestleMania front row, and they're going to do it up to watch John Cena's last debut with Travis Scott, who needs to get his behind kicked. I still challenge Travis Scott, hashtag first sight, Travis Scott hardcore title 24/7 open challenge. Somebody gonna tag this and be like, Travis, he calling you out. Xander, he calling you out. Yes, sir. I'll take the tie off and I'll ring it around. All right, back to money. Virtual touring, subjects or skills like coding, languages. I've come to find out math, reading, science, all of that is needed right now, especially since the Department of Education just took a dump. If you are an online teacher, you can make a decent quantity of capital worldwide from the comfort of your own computer. Beginning tutors are making incomes between $500 and $2,000 a month. Intermediate tutors are making between $2,000 and $6,000 a month. Experienced tutors are making between $6,000 and $20,000 a month, where you're sitting on your computer showing folks how to learn common knowledge stuff. And they've got so many platforms and websites where the materials are free to download, and you could just give it to your clients. And if you organize the stuff that you download, label the file and everything to that effect, it'll be easy for you to go back and refine it. And then when you have new clients that needs the same materials, you don't even have to go look for it. You could just go onto your computer, go into that file, or just go into your search engine, type in the name of that file, and everything related to those topics will pop back up for you to give to another student, where you're on autopilot till you get into class and start explaining to them how to work this stuff. And if you've done it once, you're going to remember how to do it again. And if you ever struggle trying to explain something, you could do some extra research on it and then go back and re-explain it in a more in-depth fashion. Once you've explained it in a more in-depth fashion, the next person that comes, you're able to explain it in a more effective fashion, which means that you can make more money as an online teacher at home than what you would be making as an in-school public teacher or a private school teacher, because you could be making as much as $50 a student per hour for however many students that you want to have. And then if you get on certain platforms that allows you to have class settings where you can book multiple students at the same time, then you can schedule 3 or 5 different students in a group setting where you're getting $50 per student for the same hour, and you can have like 5 or 7 students, and you can use platforms like Zoom to make something like that happen, which is fantastic. Because now if you've got 5 students giving you $50 a person, Usman, how much is that? See, Usman be crunching them numbers. How much is that per hour and per day? Because that's a decent quantity of money. You're making far more than the average individual who would have to spend a whole day to make that same quantity of money that you would have made off of 1 hour worth of work. So we need to start thinking about these things. And don't worry, I've got a list. I got 2 more lists for you guys, because I got a list of things that you can do in other countries that outside of America, and some extra things, because these are the things that you can do on a computer, which means that these are the things that you can do while you travel. But I've got another list of things that you can do while you travel, that if you don't want to use the computer, if you just want to use your physical skills, I'm going to give you guys a list of some of the things that you can do on your physical skills. Oh man, I thought Usman was going to come back with the numbers real fast. Usman's been my calculator. Let's see, $50 a person times 5, that's going to be $250 an hour, and $250 an hour if you worked, I don't want to say 10 hours, but let's say you do a 10-hour day, because that makes no sense to do 10 hours. Let's say 5 hours. Well, 10 hours would be $2,500, right? So 5 hours would be like $1,750 for the day. If you're teaching 5 students per class for 5 classes out of a day for 5 hours, you'd be making $1,750 a day. So yeah, there's a way that you can make and then you can do that 5 days a week, and you're making more money in 4 days than what most people make all month off of 20 hours of work. So there is plenty of ways that we can make extra money to make more money for us, where we can invest the extra money that we're not utilizing on our 9-to-5 job. We can invest that money in investment portfolios so that we can have a larger quantity of revenue coming in, even if we do not have a romantic partner that has a common sense that God gave a Bessie bug to be a team player and help with the finances. Now, residual income ventures, and I'm going to call these residual income ventures because people call them passive income ventures, because passive income and residual income is interchangeable due to the fact that passive income requires you to do a little bit of setup, and then it automates itself, and you don't have to do anything else to keep getting the money. And residual income is the continuous payment of past effort. The reason why I call this stuff residual income is because if it is passive income where you set it up before and you don't have to touch it again, but you got to keep setting stuff up so that you can get the money where you want it to be at, you're continuously doing more work to eventually reach the pay scale that you're looking for, that's not passive income, that's residual income. You're still getting paid today from something you did last year while you're still putting in work today to get more money next year than what you had last year. That is residual income. So we're doing residual income ventures right now. Real estate crowdfunding, investing in real estate properties with platforms like Arrived for steady dividends, reselling furniture returns, and partners with services like ShareTown to flip used furniture or lightly used furniture for profit. That's another place that you can go. And I know that we were talking about the crowdfunding when we were talking last week about Chile and Dubai, and the trust, the international trust that you can invest into, those irrevocable, non-guarantor, thrift spend, non-taxed, non-residential, offshore, private trust. Yeah, that's a lot to get all that set up. And I gave you, I think, 5 or 7 different countries that you could set those up in, where at least 4 of them were tax-free trust countries, where if the money goes there, it's not going to be taxed. And if you send your money to the trust, you do a Schedule K, and that Schedule K means that you don't pay taxes on the money that you sent to the trust, which means that when you file your taxes, if you send the money to the trust before the end of the fiscal year, when you send all that stuff to the IRS is like, oh, he ain't got no money. So you don't pay taxes, because you pay taxes if you make more than $400 of cash of profit as a sole proprietor, entrepreneur, small business owner. If you make more than $400, you're supposed to file taxes. Supposed to, doesn't mean that you have to. It's still a voluntary system. But if you can shave it all the way down to where you only have like $200 worth of money that came in, they're looking at, shoot, he's got like 13.5 or something like that, where he's kind of in the red just about on paper. Yeah, they're not going to charge you taxes on nothing that you made. Now there are other ones where you could participate in paid surveys or customer interviews for $50 to $150 an hour using platforms like respondent.io. There is another one that is called Opinions, and they allow you to get paid to watch movies and sample foods and other such stuff, but they're typically held in some of the malls in Florida. Now, I don't know if they're nationwide, but you can sign up for free online, and then they can tell you about certain surveys that you could participate in if you can make it to the testing center. And that's something that, depending on how much gas it takes for you to get there and get back, if that's worth it. But typically, if you go there often, they try to hook you up with enough surveys when you get there that it might take up 30 minutes to an hour of your time, but you walk away with like $100, $150, which is enough to fill your gas tank, buy yourself some lunch, and have you a little cash on the side for something extra, So that's something that you want to do. But again, that's one of those things where your physical presence is required on a regular basis to gain capital. And if you're doing something like that, you're going to have to continuously put your time on the line in order to get more money. If you're doing something like selling stock photos on sites like Shutterstock or Getty Image, you would be able to just take the photo, put it up there, and everybody who wants a copy pays to download that photo. And then you're making money, make money for you. Well, I start traveling. I start taking videos and photos and stuff like that. And I start putting that stuff up there for Shutterstock and Getty Image, and whatever revenue that I get up for those, that supplements the cost of travel. But that means that I'm already videotaping and taking photos and going places and other such. And that's something that I'm going to do while I'm out there instinctively, which also means that I'm not getting paid for working. I'm getting paid because other people want to see me have fun. That's not effort, especially with the kind of cell phones that we got right now with the S25 Ultra and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. With the cameras that these cell phones got, bro, all you got to do is pull your cell phone out your pocket and take a couple pictures of the location before you leave, or videotape what's going on in the area before you go. Anything that you find interesting, you just record that stuff. and then you just crop it when you get to a destination and upload it onto Shutterstock, upload it onto Getty Image, let it stay there for a price. And every time somebody pays to use it or pay to see it, you get a commission off of that. That's low effort, but it's still residual. Now, I got some more low effort, high paying jobs that you guys can do. The tech and remote work, like web developer median salary. The web developers have $84,960 that offers flexibility and remote options. So this is actually working for a company. Computer systems analysis, where the median salary for that job is $103,800, where you're focusing on improving IT systems for businesses. AI content consultants, where you use those AI tools to create marketing content and highlight the demands with flexible scheduling. You can create roles, and these creative roles, like graphic designers, have a median salary of $51,821, ideal for those with autistic skills and remote work preferences. You have voiceover artists, where you earn by lending your voice to advertisements, audiobooks, or automations. And I didn't even think about that until I did this show. With how much time I talk on this podcast, I have no problem with finding people who will buy my voice. I can turn a profit off of reading a book. Oh my goodness, which will make me read more books. After today's show, I'm going to look at some places where I can find out where they're paying for this, because that makes a lot of sense, because that's easy to do for anybody who likes to talk. You get paid to talk. Now, specialized professions. This is going to be something that the rest of y'all are probably not going to be all that interested in, but you're definitely going to take a look into. Actuaries. The actuaries medium income of $120,000 involves statistical risk analysis with low stress levels. Now, notice, if we're already doing statistical risk analysis with all of the investment topics that we're doing every day on the show, at least 4 days a week on the show, then wouldn't it make sense to get paid $120,000 a year to do this stuff? We're doing this for free to entertain your time and for me to share knowledge with you, and we could be doing this for an income. See what I'm saying? This is literally stress-free stuff that most people didn't even think about. Now, the next one's going to be a little bit difficult. Environmental economist. The median salary for that one is $115,730. $115,730. Now, you're going to focus on sustainability projects with manageable workloads. And look, all of these jobs are close to $100,000 a year jobs that I'm telling y'all about. So when these females is like, I want to do that makes $100,000 a year. Guys, it's easy to get there, because these are the kind of jobs that you can supplement your income with, not be your primary job. Administrative and job support. This one is going to be really entertaining, because this takes little to no effort. All you need is some internet and an electronic device where you can make video contact with somebody else. Because guess what? Virtual assistant has a median salary of $54,739 to manage schedules and communications remotely for somebody else. They're going to pay you $55,000 to manage somebody else's time remotely. All you need is stable internet to make it happen. Bookkeepers. Here's another one, ladies. Median salary of $48,716 to handle the financial records for small businesses with minimal stress. So you, as a bookkeeper, could get paid almost $50,000 a year just to count somebody else's money. These females is taking men's money on a regular basis, and y'all could be getting paid to count it. I fluently speak Spanish and English. What is that? Trying to speak, find a niche to generate income. legal legal immigrated services, etc. Side hustles help. Um, well, I just told you, you're trying to speak well, you're trying to find a niche to generate income. Well, if you're speaking Spanish and English, and we just said that you could do voiceovers, that's one way that not only can you do voiceovers, you can do translations for voiceovers. So you can find one of those companies that, and I'll look into it for you and find some that do that, where they will pay you to translate whatever the document is into English or into Spanish, so that they have, like, think about every time you call somebody, a company or something like that, they have a voicemail, and the person that's reading that script is a voiceover contract. That person doesn't work for the company. That person was paid to say that statement. And that's why they're so cheerful on the voicemail, because how many employees that work for a shitty job that is phones ringing off the hook, and nobody's getting served the way they want to be served, and all the customers are pissed off, has a happy attitude when they answer the phone? Nobody. The only reason why that voicemail is so cheerful is because that person doesn't give a shit, because they're getting paid to say this script, and they're going to get paid a decent chunk of change, and they're going to forget this company ever existed after that. They might accidentally call this company and hear their voice and be like, oh, Twilight Zone, because I'm listening to myself. That's what I sounded like 20 years ago when I made that video. But yeah, and you said legal immigrant services, etc., side hustles. When it comes down to legal immigration, that's going to require certifications. That's going to be a little bit harder to do. I found the easy side hustles, but yeah, I can go and do some research and get it to you for tomorrow's show and show you about the immigration services where you can help somebody you could get paid to help somebody legally acquire citizenship in whatever country that you're in. Or help them get dual citizenship in other countries. And I'll get you the information as to what you got to do to go about doing that, because here on This and That, I try to help you guys find all the information that you need to be successful. But when you're trying to find a niche to generate income, bro, I just gave you a bunch of them. I just gave you like the last 30 minutes was just going over a bunch of them. Now, there's the best side hustles and low effort, high paying jobs by country in 2025. I got a list of those. So this isn't just about what's going on in America. I'm about to tell you country by country some of the best side hustles and low effort jobs that vary globally depending on economic trends, technological advancements, and local demands, so that you will be able to figure out where you're going to sway your side hustles. And I'm going to give you some that I haven't already given you on the list already. So in North America, in addition to the ones that I've already told you about, a new side hustle is AI driven content creation. They have the freelance digital market, web development, and which are lucrative options, the print on demand business, the reselling of furniture, which is something popular, but the motion graphics design, that's something that's really good, that's paying $53 an hour. And the virtual tutoring that I told you guys about, as well as Canada, they've got e-commerce stores, such as the drop shipping, selling digital products that I was telling you guys about before, freelance bookkeeping, like I just finished talking about, low effort jobs such as something new, y'all, pet sitting and walking dogs. You can get paid for doing that. Something as high as $50 to $100 an hour, depending on how many dogs you're walking. And you can go through platforms like Rover and remote customer service roles in order to get set up with something like that. Mexico has side hustles like tourism, and these tourism focused services like Airbnb experiences, food tours, or selling handmade crafts on Etsy. These are other ways that you can go about making you some cash. Low effort things like rideshare driving jobs, Uber Eats, Lyft. What was the other one? Starts with a P. Oh, I can't think about it off the top of my head. Because when you're not doing Uber Eats, you're doing and Instacart. Instacart is another one that works. They have the Walmart shift that's up there right now. Um, but I can't think of the one that starts with the P. And I actually did that one during the pandemic. Um, Ah, I can't think of it. But when it comes to mine, it's one of those side hustles where you get paid to pick up food for somebody, bring it to them, and you get paid and sometimes tipped out for doing it. And I was making, when I was doing it at that time, between $150 and $200 a day every day. I was able to turn my whole life around using that job during the pandemic, to the magnitude where I actually expanded on my operation with another rideshare thing that I had. Because if you do, here's another thing that you can do that's a rideshare thing that's not even on this list that I'm thinking about right now. They have electric scooter companies that subcontract transporting their scooters, charging their scooters for them, like Bird, Lyft. Um, um, I can't remember the other one. Not Lyft. It's Bird and Lime. That's the other one, Lime, and then the Uber one. Uh, where the scooter companies will pay you by the scooter, usually like $3 and some change per scooter, to move them bad boys around or pick them up, charge them up, and put them back down. And when you're doing that at a few hundred scooters at a time, you could be making. I was making 200,000 a year off of something like that, just by bringing a truckload of scooters into the city, dropping them off, picking up a truckload of scooters, bringing them back to the warehouse and plugging them in. I started by bringing them back to the house and plugging them in, had a whole living room full of them. And then I expanded into a mass contract, took the extra money that I was getting in profits, bought me a warehouse, and used the warehouse and filled it with scooters, where I had almost 300 scooters at one time in a warehouse, cycling out the ones that I wasn't using from the ones that I was using. And I tell you what, it was a fantastic year until like they took Bird out of Tampa. Then I had to find something else. South America has some. In Brazil, they have online tutoring, which you can work there, and photography online as well. Their low effort jobs are event planning for weddings or parties. So apparently that's something that's big over there, leveraging Brazil's vibrant culture. So I'm more than sure that you can do like tour guides and Airbnb setups and stuff like that. Argentina has side hustles like freelance graphic design, social media management for small businesses, and selling local crafts internationally through Etsy and other options. They have low effort jobs like virtual assistant roles for global clients. Now in Europe, you have United Kingdom with blogging, podcasting, and affiliate marketing, where affiliate marketing, you can use squeeze pages to create articles, and it could be anything. You can just talk about how your day is going. You could talk about a specific topic on a regular basis. Just keep putting stuff up there. And then those squeeze pages, you can put affiliate links in those squeeze pages. And as people come across your topics, especially if your topics revolve around the links, they will read your topic, click the link, and then go and purchase the product. Somewhat, it's like 2% of the time, because in advertisement, you get 2% of a response for every advertisement. But then, like I said, you still generate a decent quantity of revenue. And this is something that you put it up there and you don't have to go back and manage that article. You have to keep creating articles and creating links and continue to post stuff until you start generating revenue off of it. But the fact is that once you start doing that, you don't even have to worry about where the money's coming from. With video blogs like YouTube, podcasting, every video that goes up, I can put a bunch of links in those videos, leave the videos up there. People can watch those videos and then they can click the links and go straight to the products. I can put extra effort into my products, and I can take those links that I put into the comment section for you guys earlier today, and I can put those links in the video in a specific location where those links pop up across the top of the screen, so that people can see those links and be like, oh, dip, and click the link and go to the product. So that is another thing that can happen for you, which aids you in making extra money. Now that It's going to still be residual because you have to keep building it until you get it where you want it to be, but it will become passive once you stop having to do it, and it is still turning you over a revenue on a regular basis. But if you're blogging and podcasting and utilizing affiliate marketing all in one, not just relying on one or the other, then as you travel, you're blogging and you're podcasting and you're adding affiliate links and you're adding promotions from different countries into your products, you will end up making money everywhere you go. And if you build a reputation of name dropping and promoting a bunch of companies and a bunch of places that actually turn over a higher revenue because of your presence, they can then you'll have people inviting you places, covering your cause, giving you free stuff to sample so that you can promote it because you have a strong network that follows what you've got going on. So whenever you do a report and say, hey, this person is awesome, everybody's going to trust that, and then they're going to go towards it. So you could get paid off of that. And then as an influencer, whether you're a blogger, a podcaster, or somebody that's in affiliate marketing, as you're influencing your audience, you will have people that will sign contracts with you just to wear their brand or talk about their brand or use their brand on video. The same way Lil Jon walks around with his bottle of Patron because he's contracted to do that. He gets paid to drink Patron because when people see when low value people, low class people see Lil Jon drink a Patron on a rap stage, they run to the liquor store and go buy them a bottle of Patron for $100, which is the same quality as distilled Seagram's gin, which costs $24. And because it's got the Patron name on it, and Lil Jon was holding it on stage at the rap concert, it is 4 times more expensive. But the fact is that you'll buy that because that is the jam. That is the prestigious alcohol. When distilled gin from Seagram's has a higher alcohol by volume, which means you get drunker off of Seagram's gin for $24 a bottle for the same size bottle as a bottle of Patron, or a bottle of Patron is $100 a bottle, and you're not even getting as much. And specifically, Patron is like around 47% alcohol, and distilled Seagram's gin is 51%. So if you get in the right spot, 55%. That's not the 99 banana that's like 99% alcohol. We're not talking about pure ethanol. We're talking about like actual like flavored alcohol. Like it's going to taste reasonably smooth. It's not going to set your throat on fire. Might grow you some hair on your chest, but but this is again an affiliate situation. Even Lil Jon was affiliate. He's marketing the product by using it and drinking it, and they'll pay you a decent quantity of money, annual salaries and stuff like that to promote the product. Now, be that as it may, with these situations, if you're promoting these products as an influencer, guess what you've got to do? You've got to maintain a positive reputation, because if you do something that is frowned upon in the social observation, then the company will pull your product, or not pull the product, but they'll pull your contract. They'll stop paying you. So like, I think it was Kanye who said or did something that he wasn't supposed to do online, and he lost millions of dollars worth of sponsorship, like stuff like that. That's like, your image is key. So while you're worthless, ideally, you want to maintain a reputation of worth, so that when people start paying for your presence, you want to make sure that you have a valuable reputation to get paid for your presence. If you have a bad reputation, nobody's going to sponsor you. So this is another thing that you can't come out of OnlyFans and say, oh, I'm going to be a influencer for Reading Rainbow or Sesame Street. You get Elmo and Big Bird arrested. Now, freelance tech consulting, we told you about that before, where you're doing AI workflow automations. That's going to be a lucrative thing in the United Kingdom. Also, babysitting, in addition to pet sitting. Babysitting is probably more difficult than pet sitting, because pets know how to sit and stay and children don't know how to sit and stay. But you can do that through a platform like care.com, where you can get signed up and get approved to be a babysitter. And then you could just get paid to hang out at somebody's house and watch their kids. Germany has a side hustle. Again, we got the teaching, you got the freelance programming, selling digital products. Remote transcriptions. That's something new. Remote transcriptions. So Z, you were saying that you wanted to find a niche to generate income with your fluent languages. Remote transcribing or translation work. And that is in, what country are we in right now? Germany. And you can get signed up from them. France has side hustles offering virtual interior design consultations. The virtual tours for real estate's happening so much these days. One, because you're looking at places all over the country and all over the world, and you can't travel there to get an in-person tour. Two, this stuff started becoming a thing after the pandemic because some people are still no contact heavy or antisocial. So you can benefit from that. Or you can be creating handmade goods, again, on that Etsy platform. They have a rideshare drive company called BlaBlaCar, which I guess is the same as Uber. In Asia, a buddy of mine told me that in Asia, they have this company that picks up drunks and drives their cars home so that they don't have to, which is different from having a cab pick you up for free in America, take you home and leave your car at the club. They have a company where they bring somebody to your location and that person drives your car home for you. And then they catch a ride back to wherever they came from so that you and your car is at your house without you being drunk. I was like, yo, that's dope. We need to have something like that in America. And he's coming to America from Taiwan, trying to get a NIW, and he's not trying to use that as his platform to get his NIW. I'm like, bro, if your EB2 is stopping drunks from driving, and you're going to turn a profit, and you're going to create jobs, and you're going to stimulate the economy, don't you think that Donald Trump would say fuck yeah about that? He's like, no, they're already doing it in Taiwan. That's like Taiwan, bro. That's not fucking America. Go talk to the people who are doing it in Taiwan and take that idea and bring that shit to America. Matter of fact, you can offer them 60% of the proceeds as a franchisee for you to take their Taiwan product and bring it to America, where all you got to do is start it up over there and get paid to run it. And you can use their software. It's easier to do, but it is what it is. Now, India has freelance digital marketing, teaching classes online for coding. They're specifically talking about coding, but any type of education you can teach. But people pay more for coding, computer technology stuff, so they'll pay a higher price for that. You can still do content creation on YouTube, selling print on demand products, and also data entry transcription. So here's another job for you, Z. Here's another job for you in India. You have data entry or transcription. So if you are working for international clients, you can take their data and translate it from the language that they're not familiar with to the language that they're familiar with. And with the AI software that exists right now, you can actually get direct from Perplexity or ChatGPT. You could get direct translation from some languages to your language or your client's language, and then just make the document in seconds, where it's not going to cost you as much time, which means that you could take on more contracts. It means that even if you're taking contracts at a lower rate than somebody else, because you're using AI platforms to produce this, you can do 5 or 10 contracts in an hour, and you could probably make $1,000 an hour or $500 an hour, depending on the complexity of the contracts, off of each one of the collaboration of contracts that you're doing in that hour. Still working 4 or 5 hours out of a day, and only working 3 or 4 days out of the week, and still making several $1,000s a week, where your standard of living would be affordable in California. So if you were living in any other country, you would be doing it way cheaper, which would make it work for you. He says, what do you think about being a franchise in other countries like McDonald's, etc., Popeyes and stuff? As long as I don't got to run a business, yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. I encourage that. Franchise owners, most countries require you to put down $30,000-$50,000 to be a franchise owner. Then you let the workers work. Now, as a franchise owner, to make sure that your money is right, you will have to show up on the job. You will have to look at their productivity. You might even have to get in there and make the food with them a couple times to see how they act and behave during a rush, see how they talk to the customers, because the success of your franchise is going to be based on the staff that runs your business. But because you have a franchise, you have a payroll setup, you have management, upper management, scheduling, product inventory, everything is automatic for you. All you're doing is taking the profits after everything else got paid on the overhead, and you're walking away with the profits. Yeah, I would do a franchise. I would not only do a franchise, I would actually expand my franchise across multiple countries. That way, whenever I fly on business to go check on one of my countries, on one of my companies. One of the reasons why I think it's good to fly on business than to be flying on tourist visas is that if you're flying on a business visa, you can stay in a country longer. The tourist visas give you like 90 days. Business visas give you like a year. And you don't have to stay there for a year, but if you wanted to be there more than 3 months, you don't have to spend so much time continuously renewing your travel visas. You can stay there as long as you need to stay there and then just move to the next country. And because you're traveling on business, you can actually claim that travel on the profits that you made off of the business, which is a tax write-off. So it's the cost of doing business, which means you're flying around the world for free to check on all your franchises to make sure that your money's right. And you're enjoying the country that you go to while you're there. That's equivalent to GTA San Andreas after you beat the game, or GTA Vice City after you beat the game, and you drive around to all of the places around the map where money revenue generates so that you can get extra money. And while you're over there, you might get into some stuff and then like move on to the next location to go collect your money every day. That's exactly what that's like. It's just traveling around to collect your money and make sure that your money's coming the way you want it to come. And then if you need to increase productivity, you can figure out ways to do that. Now, China has a side hustle of selling rare collectibles online or developing mobile apps, in addition to freelancing in AI-driven content creation. Now, they also have online surveys or app testing. And app testing is a good thing because you don't have to go through all the trouble of creating something and hoping that it works and hope that it's successful. You can literally find places that are looking for testers where they might pay you a certain quantity of money to test their product for a certain period of time, and you can get on to 3 or 4 different contracts, and probably at $1,000 a contract, test like 5 products a month and be just playing games all day or using apps all day, which is easy because all you need is internet service and patience. And then you can note any of the problems that the products are having. Japan has side hustles, including the teaching of English is something very heavy in Japan, as opposed to some of the other places that was pushing the teaching of coding, because everybody over there in Japan and Taiwan and stuff like that, they want their kids to speak English so that they can be competitive when they come to America and outdo Americans, just so that they can become a citizen. It's crazy. But the fact is, 4th graders are learning English as their 2nd or 3rd language, and being an English teacher, it's easy peasy. Between that and being a math teacher, if you're a math and English teacher, you've got it made. Because when you run out of math problems to teach them, you could teach them how to use and say the words that helps them understand the word problems. Dual purpose. And then you have creating anime-inspired digital art for sale on platforms like DeviantArt. That's another thing that you can do. And some low effort jobs that you can do in Japan. Ironically, pet sitting services for busy professionals. I didn't even think they had pets out there. Every time I see, now I ain't been to the country, but every time I see their country on TV or videos or movies or social media, I don't see anybody walking their dog or like carrying their cat to the vet in a cat cage or something like that. Everybody really, matter of fact, I don't even see them carrying their children nowhere. They leave their children at the house by themselves and fly to another country and be like, you okay? You okay? Ping Chuck, you're okay. You can stay there. And we didn't pay the rent for the whole year. You can just stay there. Don't get in no trouble. And they don't be getting no trouble neither. Shoot, you leave your sons and your daughters at home in America while you're at work after school, like 3 days in a row. The son has got a baby mama and the daughter's pregnant. But out there in Japan, shoot, you can move out and leave the kids in the house by themselves for a whole year. Don't tell nobody. Kids are self-sufficient. I don't understand the difference in the dynamic. Usman said, reporter, why has T-Mobile network slowed down for all the population? President, because Xander chose to do a long stream today. You are not lying. We gonna shut down the internet. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to broadcast so much stuff over here that we shut down the internet. They're gonna be like, dang, this guy's hitting. But we only got what? Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as y'all pop in. But we only got like what 25,000 subscribers on this platform. We're a small platform, small platform. Nothing like those 4 million view subscriber platforms that's doing like 100,000 views a day. We're a small platform. But as we get there, though, we're going to be ensured that we show love to all of those that was there with us, kicking the grit from the beginning. Now, South Africa is one of the places that's got some side hustles, including the drop shipping and affiliate marketing that's targeting international markets, where tutoring math or science subjects online is a profitable way to go there. And freelance writing for global blogs or websites is another way to go, because if you're doing freelance blogs, you don't have to have the blog. All you have to do is just write for the blog. So if you know somebody who is a writer, they can write they can have the platform, manage the platform and everything like that, and they give you a chunk of change for you to edit the article for them, or put up an article for them if they already wrote the article. So that's something else that you can already do. Z says, shut it down, bro. Shut it down. T-Mobile rep, how much bandwidth would you like, sir? Xander said, all of it. All. They just took $50 off my bill. I didn't call them for the $150 that they're supposed to take off my bill. I called them because there was a price adjustment on my bill because somebody messed up in February. So they took $50 off my bill today, after they took $150 off my bill a week and a half ago. And then I'm going to call them in 2 weeks right before I go to pay the bill and have them take another $150 off the bill. It's like a $350 bill, and I only pay like $200 a month for it. But I think we're going to be paying less this time. I think I'm only going to be paying $150 for it. But T-Mobile, I'm going to promote because we had this conversation. I actually needed more bandwidth. In order for me to get the high definition that we have right now, I'm running two 5G unlimited internet towers in my location right now. 2. So, and they're supposed to be $65 a month for each one. I got them both for $65 together, which is like $30 a piece, because they gave me a promotion on it. So since I got them both at $30 a piece with the promotion on it, and then they're taking $150 off the thing, so I am not getting any. I am not getting any increases on the extra one that I bought. I added a 4th line onto I had 5 phone lines. 2 of them were free. 3 of them had phones on them, and then I had the other 2 that were internet services, because I had a Jet Extreme hotspot, then the home internet system. Now I have the Jet Extreme, 2 home internet systems. I added a 4th line, so I have 1 more phone line that's a free phone line that doesn't have a phone on it. All I got to do is buy a phone and add a phone line to it. It's crazy. So when I add the phone line to it, and I'm like, hey, I'm having trouble, they deduct $20 per phone and $30 per internet service off of my bill every month because the tower in the neighborhood doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. I'm like, swing. Because I told us I need all the bandwidth. So I can tell you right now, I had this conversation like 2 hours before the show started. I look at my bill right now. I am running 1,000 gigabytes of data service. That is what I'm doing by myself, is 1,000 gigabytes of data service. I am pushing more internet service than more small companies. She said, I'm so sorry, boy. The booger. You are to be respected. Oh, my goodness. He said, I'm so sorry. Oh, so sorry for the booger. No, you didn't bother me, brother. It's good. You are to be respected. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Everything we do, we do we do heavy. I don't do nothing small. I've been doing things big since big timers came out with real big. I've been doing things big. I don't never do nothing small scale. Everything I do big. When I walked onto the dealership and bought my first brand new car in my life, I bought straight off the showroom floor, didn't ask no questions. I want that one, is all I said. Oh, you want to test drive it? No, I want that one. Well, you got to test drive it first. You sell it to me and then I'll take you around the block in it after I own it. But I'm not getting in it till I own it. And then when I came back in it, he's like, oh, what's wrong with the truck? Nothing. I want that one. So I drove up in a brand new truck 6 months after I bought the first one and bought the one next to it. I want that one. 2 brand new vehicles in a year. I don't do nothing small scale. Usman says there's finessing the system, and then there's Xander. You not lying, bro. But see, okay, here's the thing. There's ongoing reports from the company where in the area there are plenty of complaints about network issues. The tower receives frequent damage because the tower is connected to a grid that has frequent power outages, which causes frequent power surges, which damages the tower profusely, unexpectedly. Usually when there's a defect in a tower, we start seeing glitches on the show. Now, call drops are affected by that. Streaming is affected by that. Download speeds and upload speeds are affected by that. As a result, it is regularly documented that it is an ongoing issue, to the point where the tower asked me specifically to stop putting in support tickets. Now I don't have to put in a new support ticket. All I have to do is just call them and say, hey, can you check the system and see what's going on? They're going to say, well, they're still working on the tower. That's all I need to hear. All right, reset my whole system and we're good. It's about an hour phone call. By the time they finish resetting my whole system, make note that you resetted my whole system. The tower is still being worked on. We're still dealing with the issues. I'm guaranteed qualified to call them back later in the month during the billing cycle and say, hey, do something about my bill. And they're going to do something about my bill because I'm legitimately experiencing a problem. And instead of me canceling my service or going with somebody else, I'm paying extra money to get extra service to offset their defective product, because I'm supposed to have 5 gigs of data, which means the one tower that I'm paying for is supposed to give me 1,000 gigabytes, which is 1 terabyte of service, unlimited. And I'm not getting that. So I had to get 2. I have to use 2 unlimited devices and 4 cell phones in order to get that 100 gigabytes of data. So sometimes I've got to connect one of my cell phones. Y'all was on the show a few times late last year where I had to switch from cell phone to cell phone during the show, where I showed you guys that I was using the hotspot from the cell phone to power the podcast. So it's legitimate. I'm not just finagling the system and just cheating them out of the system. It's just like, look, if you talk to your phone company, they might hook you up. Especially if you're in a situation where you have legitimate evidence in their system where it is on record that you are being inconvenienced and they need to compensate you for the inconvenience. As a result, All you got to do is just be respectful. They'll take good care of you. Now, if the other guy, if I would have let him stay on top of his error, I might have would have got $110 off today, but I don't want them to look at that $110 and think that's the discount I'm supposed to get and not get the other discount on the other side. So with that being said, when I call him in a few weeks, I'm gonna be like, hey, what's up with this technical support issue? Separate complaint. So they take $200 off of my $350 bill. I only pay $150 for $350 worth of service. That's saving money. So I get to invest that extra $200 into stocks and bonds and real estate so that I can start making more money, make money for me. Eventually, the stocks are going to be paying my phone bill. Z said, I followed you. Great sense of humor and smart as fuck. Yeah, of course. Of course. A lot of people start this podcast trolling me. They got a lot of jokes. They come in and they fry. Look, see. Remember I told you the freezing, see that right there? That right there constitutes $150 off of my bill. So just because of that frame drop right there, I could call them up and say, hey, I was having problems with my stream yesterday and $150 off my bill. So it's a legit complaint. But yeah, people jump onto the podcast and they'll troll when they first get in. And when they come in, they don't always know that I bring you a lot of knowledge. I bring you a lot of fun. And you know, we talk about a lot of stuff under the sun, but I do more trying to help you guys make yourselves better so that you don't have to live a shitty life. As men, we have to increase our finances in order for us to have better relationships. And as men, we have to make better decisions about the people we choose to be in relationships with so that we don't have shitty relationships with people who are going to use us and take all of our money and leave us miserable at the same time. So since we have been driven by sex for the last 7 or 8 decades, I'm putting the platform down where I'm like, look, that is a guarantee. Sex from the woman is guaranteed the same way money from the man is guaranteed. That means that she needs to bring something to the table that's not sex, and I need to bring something to the table that's not money so that we can show our value for each other. Because if that's not the case, then really all it is that I'm renting you, and that is the Riley theory. So she needs to figure he said no more we no more we she that's right, no more, we're not doing that. So since we're not doing that, I'm not just gonna have a red pill podcast complaining about the women's behavior. I'm not gonna have a woe is me podcast complaining about how men are being mistreated in any country. What I'm gonna say is that guys are making the wrong decisions and the guys got to change their decision. First person accountability. Then I'm gonna bounce back off of that and say, all right, fellas, now that we understand where we're fucking up, let's go ahead and stand on those non-negotiable expectations for behavior. And now we're going to stand on a principle where we're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We're going to do better. We're going to be better. And that means that we can expect more. Now that we expect more, she has to meet those expectations. And those are the expectations that we're not flexing on. If we're not flexing on those expectations before we get emotionally involved, before we get financially invested, we can determine if she is valuable to us for us to spend money on, if she is valuable for us to invest our time in. Because if it's not for that, he said no more boogers. Look, I've got hair on my mustache, and I can tell you that it be tickling my nose. So there'd be some situations where I just got to come over here and just mess with my nostrils, because every now and then I got to shave it. Some days you see me come onto the show and I have almost no facial hair. The only thing I don't shave is a goatee. But I get one of them stragglers that go up there and start messing. So I got a mustache hair tickling a nose hair. I can't do that. So I gotta I gotta mess with that. But yeah, so when I tell you guys that we got to do that, after we do that, we already understand that our value set. Oh yeah, I really appreciate you too, man. Thank you so much. I love the jokes. I'm good for them. But no, the ladies, we already know what they want. They want men of higher financial status. That's what they call value. Men are of higher value, or men that are relied upon more, not just men that make more money. But since the only thing that women are relying on at this moment is money, when they're not determined to be self-sufficient, in order for us to be considered valuable to women, we would have to increase our income. So I split the podcast in half, and I said, well, half the time we're going to be talking about ways to make yourself more money, and half the time we're going to be talking about how to fix the decision making process that you have so that you can be in a better relationship. Because if you're in a bad relationship right now, get out of it. If you're about to get into a relationship and all of the stuff that I'm talking about that are red flags is showing up, don't get into it. Then you can find a better quality person. And instead of doing quantity over quality, you can now change your dynamic where less is more, where you will get more quality from the higher valued person than the lower valued person that might throw it back in a bathroom somewhere. They might do some back shots in the back seat of the car in the middle of oh yeah, of course, that is how we met. You came through with some jokes and I just let you run with them. But yeah, instead of the females that are willing to do something nasty in public, you find a woman that's willing to help you make yourself more successful so that you can share your wealth with her. Because as I just finished telling you guys about different side jobs that y'all could be doing right now that are little effort, little startup costs, where you could be making $100,000 a year. All it would take is for your woman to help you make that successful, and y'all will have an extra $100,000 a year coming into the household, plus your primary job, plus her primary job. And y'all will be able to take that extra money that y'all don't need to pay bills with and invest it into stocks and shit. You already know if you throwing back $100,000 a year into stock options, you're going to reach $1 million really fast. You're going to reach $1 million really fast. So if you can start up a side job where you and your wife can work together, where your household income is $150,000 or $250,000, where y'all can quit both of y'all primary jobs and work together on that side job. Now that's a small business for the family. You put that under an LLC, and then you have the kids help you do the job. Now mom's working a job, dad's working a job, and all the kids is working a job. You cutting the kids a check. That's going to be written off as a tax write-off. You're paying for the kids' education. That donation is written off as a tax write-off. You could be making $200,000 a year off of drop shipping and have 5 people running the platform. You, your wife, and your 3 kids. And now you ain't got to work on that shit all day, every day. You can work on it in the morning. Mama can work on it in the afternoon. The kids can work on it when they're not in school. They could be working on it in the weekends. And you're teaching them how to be responsible, how to run a business, how to invest in stuff. And the whole way through, the whole operation is being ran. So if you're only working on the operation 1/5 at a time, or 1/3 at a time, your wife's working on it 1/3 at a time, and the kids are working on it 1/3 at a time, you've got a whole setup where you're making enough money where the kids can pay for their own toys, their own entertainment, whatever they want, school clothes, whatever they want, they get it because they work for it. You got a break. Your wife got a break. Y'all could take turns doing shit. You could deal with the kids while she's handling the drop shipping platform. Like, these are the things that we could do if we found women of value who would say, he's a $50,000 a year man, or he's a $30,000 a year man, but he got ideas. He's got ambition. He's got drive. All he needs is an investor. All he needs is an angel investor, a silent partner, somebody who will throw some cash on the table and let him turn that money into something else. And that woman would be the one that would help that man make the family millionaires, where the wife would be a millionaire, the children would inherit millions, the children would split millions, the children's children would have access to millions, because you're dealing with a man with some sense. Instead of chasing how much can he spend on my first date, well, what's your platform? What's your portfolio? What's your drive? What's your 20-year plan? What's your finance? Instead of asking me what do I do for a living, you should be asking me what's my financial plans for the next 20 years. Like, and if I don't know is the first thing to come out of my mouth, it don't matter what I say after that, because everything after that is bullshit. So he said, great, never heard this ASA. Hey, no, this is a public service announcement. A child. Oh, yes, sir. A child. Because you got to understand. Okay, so child labor laws requires for anyone under the age of 18 to work 21 hours or less on a job. Now, kids are smart. Right now, a 3-year-old is using an iPhone to keep his or her attention while his mama's doing something else, because the mama don't want to pay attention to the child. Right now, there's a child with a tablet listening to that Super Bowl song, not knowing what it means, but jamming to it. Right now, You got 5 and 6 year olds that are more advanced with technology than the average adult, which means that 7, 8, and 9-year-old kids, if you teach them about running the online business, if you're doing an e-commerce store and you want to do the e-commerce store and build up the capital on it, you teach the kids about the e-commerce store. You have them picking products, doing research on the products, and then telling you about the products, and then you put the products up on the shelf. You have the wife making sure that the products are, the links are working and everything like that, and then advertising the site on other platforms to generate more traffic to the store. Then you spend more time on investing in getting more products and expanding your merchandise setup. That means that the whole family will be working together for success. Instead of giving the kids an allowance for them to get on your damn nerves, you can pay the kids to be helpful. You only use positive reinforcement. Instead of using negative reinforcement by disciplining the children for doing something wrong, you only give them positive enforcement for doing something right. So instead of you beating their ass because they're getting on your damn nerves, you're paying them to do something that you need done. They will volunteer to help you because they're going to get compensated for it, and then they're going to get positive praise when they did a good job. Children want attention, and if they can only get it doing something negative, they'll do something negative easy and get negative attention before they put in the effort to get positive attention. So if it's a win-win that I'm going to get money that I can buy stuff with, and mommy and daddy's going to be proud of me at the same time, I'm going to do my best at this. I'm going to be doing this instead of sleeping. I'm going to be doing this instead of my homework. So that every time they see me, they're like, oh, snap, he done did this, he done did that, he done invested in this, he done did this. And everything is building the kid up to when the kid becomes an adult, that kid knows how to make money for him. The kid should have so much money moving around where all he got to do is make a phone call and wire transfer some money, and all of a sudden he just turned over a bunch of cash. But all we doing is putting them in front of the TV. Go watch the TV. Leave me alone. Go play the game. Go watch Blue's Clues on the cell phone. Go watch Disney Plus on the tablet. Get out of my face. And then they're so conditioned to just existing with no purpose that when you start challenging them to be useful, they will protest that, because it's harder to be useful when you've been conditioned to be useless. It's harder to be useful when your whole life, all you've known is to get whatever you want and whatever you need, ladies, without having to do anything to deserve it. But when you're put in a situation where you are required from the youngest age that you can remember to be useful, that's all you know how to do is be useful. You end up instinctively doing things that are useful. And then you're only going to get positive praise because you're useful. You're not going to allow yourself to be useless. You're not going to allow yourself to fail and stay down because you don't know what it's like to give up. Which means that for you, trying to be valuable will take calculated planning instead of trying to get away with not getting caught for doing something wrong, which also takes the same level of calculated planning. They say idle trouble is because your idle minds are trying to figure out ways to not get caught to do something that you know you're not supposed to do. Well, worst case scenario, you get attention because you got caught. Best case scenario, you get the thrill of not getting caught. But if your calculated mind, if you're teaching the children for their calculated mind to buy, sell, invest, divest their portfolios, diversify, you know what I'm saying? And build something. And they're going to get praise for that. They're going to get financial reward for that. They will be able to balance their own budget. They will be able to invest in their own things. They'll be able to buy the brand new PS5 or PS6 when PS6 comes out. They'll be able to buy GTA 6 when it comes out for PC. They'll be able to buy their own clothes, buy their own school supplies, where other kids will be in school bragging about their outfit that their mommy bought them. Your kid will be going to school on a bicycle that they bought for themselves, school clothes that they bought for themselves, school supplies that they bought for themselves. Probably even investing in the school, because when you teach the child that if you invest in the school, that's a tax deduction, and the child is paying for his own education. The other kids in the playground gonna be looking stupid as fuck, because how the hell is little Timmy gonna tell your child that your child ain't shit when your child is paying the teacher's salary? The teacher gonna talk to your child with more respect. Fact is, don't nobody listen to stuff like this. Don't nobody even talk about stuff like this. The women don't teach each other this kind of stuff. But this is how women could become self-made millionaires, by finding a man with the drive and ambition to do exactly this. Use the children that she pops out as a labor force and write all that stuff off on your taxes. You make your family a millionaire. And it only takes 1/5 of the effort, or 1/3 of the effort. If you divide the 1/3 of the effort between all the children, you do 1/3 of the effort, your husband do 1/3 of the effort, you're a millionaire. It's hard to do this by yourself, but it's easy to do it with a team. Most of the 4 million, 5 million, 7 million subscriber podcasts on YouTube, they got a team, 20 people or more, helping them with that podcast, so that you can see 1 or 2 people on the camera. You got the sound guy in the background. You got the camera guy that's switching the camera frames. You got the one person that's responding to the comment section. You got somebody else that's turning stuff into audio files and putting it up on the screen. You got somebody else that's doing the merchandise. You got somebody else that's scheduling the guest on the show. You got somebody else that's doing the SEOs and setting up the websites and stuff. You got somebody else that's working the budget and paying everybody. You got there's all this other stuff that you got going on for 1 or 2 people to be on the camera. But that platform is $1 million, $2 million, $3 million platform where everybody's getting a check. The same way MC Hammer was paying $500,000 a month for folks on his payroll. Each person was getting 5 or 10 grand a month just to not get in trouble. And fact is that if you have that type of mentality to put useful people on your payroll, you won't go bankrupt like MC Hammer. Because if MC Hammer was paying $5,000 or $10,000 a month to a bunch of ex-cons that was going to bring back legal tender to MC Hammer, he would have brought back the $800,000 worth of back taxes that he did not pay. He would not have had to surrender $13 million worth of estate, because he would have been turning a profit off of them boys legally that he was paying to stay out of trouble because they couldn't find a job. But he should have built a business. He should have built a business that gave them jobs. He could have subcontracted them boys. That way their background don't matter. Temp service. He could have did that. And if he would have paid them boys top dollar from the temp service and have the company pay the temp service less than what he was paying the crew, he could have used that as a tax write-off, where the $800,000 that he owed in taxes from all the money he made off the record label would have been written off on the financial loss of the business that he was doing to give everybody freaking jobs. But everybody who's working, where they're showing their work before they show their financial background, the company want them, knowing that their background is what it is, they will hire you on your ethics. And you always got a job. He should have, but mindsets was different back in the 90s. But right now, that man is still, I think, $5 million strong, somewhere between $5 million and $50 million strong. So even though he went bankrupt, he's still not broke right now. He hasn't dropped a record label that I know of since Too Legit to Quit, and he's still a multimillionaire. All it takes is for us to change our mentality and change our mindsets. See all these drop frames right here? That's the reason why they're taking $150 off my bill in a couple weeks. Now, outside of those freelance writing platforms for global blogs or websites, Nigeria has some side hustles too. We got a few more of these we're going to be talking about, because they've got the ebooks and the personal finance, ebooks on personal finance, and freelancing graphics design, and offering social media management services and businesses abroad. But they also have the virtual assistant roles that we talked about earlier for international clients. Now in the Middle East, United Arab Emirates have a side hustle for event planning for those high profile gatherings, as well as weddings, and luxury travel consulting services. So luxury travel consulting services is something new that you guys can get into in other countries as a small side hustle. You selling those handmade goods on Instagram as well as TikTok until TikTok goes off the air is another thing that's starting to trend. You can still do the freelance photography there for events as well as being an influencer. Now, Saudi Arabia has digital production creation where Arabic calligraphy templates is a thing that they need out there, where you can also do free translation services over there. So Z, if you're trying to do free translation services, there's 4 countries that'll do it for you. There's also remote customer service roles, which is new. So even like T-Mobile has remote customer service because T-Mobile has a call center in the Philippines that runs the phones after a while. In Oceania, Australia, you have real estate crowdfunding investments from Arab and selling stock photographs online, tutoring in math or science, and also ride shares with Uber and other food deliveries like DoorDash, Instacart, and dang, I still can't remember that one that starts with the P. I know that by the time I finish with the show, I'm gonna remember it. I'm gonna remember it, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, that's the Postmates. That's the one it was. Postmates. That's the other company that does the rideshare food delivery service. Postmates. Now, side hustles is offering guided eco tours via Airbnb experiences. This is something that is different in New Zealand. Side hustles for eco-friendly eco tours that are Airbnb experiences and selling the homemade crafts in international stores and Etsy. Pet sitting is still good. Dog walking is still good. And now we've got the last list that we're going to go through, which is the list of things that you can do where you're traveling while earning income. And this is going to be more accessible than ever in 2025. So thanks to remote work opportunities, online platforms, and global demand for specific skills, we've got a list of the best side hustles that low effort jobs you can do while traveling the world for those diligent global trotters. So if you guys want to just travel the world doing stuff, these are in-person jobs while traveling, which is not a completely different list, because apparently the number one thing on the list is pet sitting, but it's also house sitting. That's a whole nother thing, where you can stay in luxury homes for free while caring for pets through platforms like Trusted House Sitters or Rover. You have benefits like free accommodations and the potential to be paid $25 to $50 per day while you're out traveling. That's not a lot of money to get paid for a primary source of income. But if you are traveling and you are going to get a free place to stay for 30 days and they're going to pay you $50 a day for 30 days, that is $500 every 10 days, which is $1,500 a month to live there in that location and take care of that pet, instead of paying $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 to stay in those same accommodations and not take care of a pet. So that actually is a good thing if you're trying to travel and manage your budget or manage your income while you're on the move. Now, as tour guides, if you lead tours in destinations you're familiar with, not places you've never been before, you can do this through those Airbnb experiences like Trip Advisor. And the median pay there is between $20 and $50 an hour. So just to wander around and see the sights and take other people to places you've been before, you could get paid $50 an hour for that. Bartenders or hostel workers, that's another thing that you guys can do. You can work at a hostel or bars in exchange for pay and free accommodations in popular tourist destinations. You can also do it for a bar tab if you're a raging alcoholic, but they pay between $15 and $20 an hour plus tip. Now, cruise ship staffs or yacht crews, you can work aboard ships as a server, entertainer, or deckhand while exploring multiple destinations. The median pay here is between $2,000 and $4,000 a month, plus a free room and board. So they will feed you and keep you with a good place to sleep while paying you $4,000 a month to work on the ship. You're teaching English abroad is coming back up again. If you're working as a teacher in the country with high demand, like Japan, South Korea, and other places, some roles offer free housing and airfare reimbursement for you to do it in person, which is different from the tutoring online that I was telling you guys about. The median pay there is between $1,500 and $3,000 a month. Now, that is a lot of money in Japan, because Japan, the standard of living is $753 or $759 a month. So if they're paying you $3,000 a month, you've got plenty of money, especially if they're covering your housing and the $2,000 plane ticket to get there. Bro, that's bank. Now, flight attendants is another one. When you're traveling exclusively while working for airlines, you get to enjoy layovers in different cities worldwide. Now, this is going to be more of a career, not so much of a random, I'll work for you guys today until I get off of this flight kind of thing. But the median pay is about $68,370 per year. So to sum it up, the precious minerals that we talked about 3 hours ago are all around us, and they play vital roles in everyday lives, from diamonds in our jewelry to copper in our smartphones. And the thrill of discovering them is what makes mineral hunting so exciting. The quantity of side hustles that I've gone over the past couple of hours, where you guys can find different ways to make money for you, and find different ways to invest in other stuff that will provide you with more capital gains with very little effort. There's literally no excuse why, at least after today's show, if not after the last time I did this type of show, you did not start putting your effort into something else to make you guys more money, so that you can have more money coming in. And as I've explained to you before, if you turn that side hustle, that supplementary income, into a career, into a small business, into a family business, if you find a partner that is willing to take what you've got and expand on it, then she is valuable to you. If she cannot, if she is only going to watch the kids, yell at the kids, curse out the kids, and sit there with her hand out, eating bonbons and watching Oprah, then you need to replace her. Because if she's not going to help you become a millionaire, then she does not deserve your millions. And that's like a public service announcement for the ladies. If you're not going to help your man become a millionaire, you do not deserve millions. Now, you can be a self-made millionaire if you want to, but how many American women are self-made millionaires? All of the women, 100% of the women that have made themselves a millionaire got it from divorce. Most women's first house came from their first divorce. Not very many women have bought their first house. Their first house was bought for them by a man. Their second house might have been bought after they've diversified their portfolio from the ownership of their first house, but they get their first house from divorcing the man. So ladies, y'all want to be self-sufficient and independent, y'all need to be self-sufficient and independent in a different fashion, where you're putting more effort into making him successful so that his wealth reigns on you, as opposed to you having to hit the grindstone every day trying to get to those millions as drops in the bucket, while those drops are evaporating before the bucket gets filled. You will never see the goal that you're looking for. Trying to find a finished product, understanding the 3 hours worth of conversation we had as to how easy it is for anybody to get there, man or woman, where you don't have to sell your body online to get there. And the fact that guys could go there if they wasn't wasting all that extra money on entertaining women, and women could get there too. Instead of having a man support you in a career that's not going to pay you a bunch of money, why don't you get with your man and start up a business where y'all can both make a bunch of money? And if the business is turning enough profit that is doubling your standard of living, you can take the extra money that you don't need for your standard of living and give yourself a bunch of millions, where you can either run that job as a side hustle for the sake of, or you can quit that, shut it down, and just live off the interest from the stocks. Or you could keep it. You could will it to your kids, let your kids run it, and get yourself a percentage of the proceeds just because you built it. You could will it to them and be a shareholder of the company. Matter of fact, y'all could be primary shareholders of the company, where dad has 40%, mom has 40%, and the other 20% is split between the kids. And as shareholders of the family business, they can run the business. They can keep the profit share that they're getting out of the situation and their salary. And you get your profit share out of the situation and you don't do any more work. If you taught the kids how to run a business since they were small, when they get big, they're going to be running businesses like that with no problem. They will hire people to do it for them so that they don't have to do it no more. And then they'll walk away and keep the difference. And the business will still be running. So, have you guys ever found a hidden gem? Because I just gave you guys a bunch of hidden gems, not just in minerals and precious metals. I also gave you some hidden gems with side hustles and supplementary incomes. Make sure that you guys comment down below if you have any mineral hunting stories. And if you're ready to take on a challenge, make sure that you guys also hit that like and subscribe button. Next week, we're going to be doing videos on, well, we already come through the ultra rare gems, but we're going to be doing some videos next week on some other financial investment opportunities. And I want to make sure that you guys take the opportunity to comment down below on your favorite side hustle experience. So don't forget to make sure that you check out tomorrow's video, because I haven't picked the country of choice. I'm going to be picking that tonight. I'm going to be throwing it up there, and I'll probably throw up a list of the other 3 or 4 countries that we're going to talk about this month. So all of the Wednesdays might be booked up for the rest of the month, where we're going to be exploring new countries, affordable living, and investment opportunities. Now, with all of that, I really appreciate you guys. You guys ran the long haul with me today. I greatly appreciate that. That was a lot. That was a lot. But I did tell y'all that we were going to get through a lot today. It's amazing how my schedule works itself out, where I have more time on days like this to cover more stuff. But these are the days that I really love doing, because you guys learn more things. You hang out with me the whole way through, and we make it do what it do. Now, special shout out to Red Void. I'm the 81 Liberty Twitcher over on Twitch side. And I really appreciate you guys for riding a wave with us over on Twitter side, Twitter X side. Special shout out to everybody that's watching us on YouTube. We have been doing it big tonight. In the meantime, as we go out, any comments that you guys want to produce, you can do so. We are live 7 nights a week. We are going to start off right around 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and that's about 7 o'clock California time, and also turning out to be 4 a.m. Green Menace time, as well as 4 a.m. Universal Standard Time. So if you ever want to catch the show from the beginning, you want to start showing up at around 10:15, and you'll see us kicking things off right about that time. Same time every night of the week, 7 days a week without fail. With that being said, I really appreciate you, Z. You're amazing. Usman, you're always the best. Mr. Satellite, always showing us love. I really appreciate you guys. Definitely Pat. Got to show some love for Pat. Got to show some more love for Bayside. You guys are showing up every day. Talina, got to show some love for her as well. I really appreciate you guys on a regular basis for coming in and doing that roll call and making sure that I know that you're here and that you guys are learning from us, and always asking questions, because if you ever got a question that I don't have the answer to, I'm definitely going to find it. If I don't bring it to tomorrow's show, I'll bring it to the show after that. I don't let too many days pass by before I answer that question, because I want to know just as much as you want to know. Now, as you can see at the top of the screen, I got a special shout out to a lot of the countries that has been showing us the most support worldwide. So we got a lot of stuff going on as we expand our viewership. So I greatly appreciate that. But as I was saying on my way out, because ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to ask you again twice today. Please, ladies, make it make sense. And any comments that come up during the closing of the show is going to be put up during the outro. So if you guys got anything else you want to add while you're hanging out listening to the outro for Higher Ground, by all means, throw that in there. Even if you're putting that comment up from Twitter X or Twitch, if you throw something appropriate into the comments section, and if I see it, I will put it up there. So with that being said, more than 75% of the followership is men from a man's perspective podcast. Thank you guys for coming to This and That. My name is Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.